Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
Welcome back. For those of you who are joining us, who have been here for a while, welcome back to a stream with points. I got a chance to go over the StreamYard stuff, so there's a few different things that you guys can do to impact the play of the story, and it should be scrolling through the stream as we go. I will be watching that. If you have any issues with any of them, let me know. I will let you know that I have extended the cooldown on them, so you can't just snow a scene with extra points or anything like that, because that changes the story a lot. But there are some pretty cool ways for you guys to impact the story, impact the storytelling. I'll just go over them really quick. There's give or take, which you can add +1 or -1 to someone's roll. Success is always exciting, but sometimes failure is, more interesting.
Spicy.
Yes. I have questions. We'll give a character an extra question or compel a character to ask a specific question. Good luck grants a player an extra luck point, which is basically like a fate point. Prophetic vision sends a specific player back into the pocket realm, the pocket misty realm, to go visit the nameless king and get who knows what. It might be extra clues. It might be a cool scene. They might also end up with really bad psychic damage. So use that one carefully. And then also you can use who is he to compel Rory's next disguise. So there's a couple things we will explore with them. They will be going, fingers crossed that they work. Kick the tires with those a little bit this time. And yeah, with that, we will go into our recap, and then we'll do announcements in the middle and have you guys all in bed by, before midnight Mountain Time.
Ideally.
DM, you want to give everybody a recap of what the heck happened last time?
Sure thing. So previously on Weldport, following our crew's panicked flight from the mysterious island where they found themselves and their battle with the island's final twisted inhabitant, they were picked up by church employees who may have some further role in a deeper conspiracy that Mike knows, and who were trying to take them to safety when all of a sudden the vehicle they were driving in was set upon by summoned gremlins who succeeded in crashing the vehicle, but our heroes succeeded in saving every life on board and escaping a large amount of harm, whereupon each of them took a nasty knock on the head that sent them to the pocket realm of the nameless king, who struck a bargain with each one of them and provided them with some information and some power. They then woke up, had to navigate getting out of a hospital peacefully, avoiding getting too aggressively questioned or arrested by the police along the way. Although Thomas, who has reverted to a more confused, almost childlike state, had some trouble with that one. They were able to get out of the hospital unharassed, got home where they found their home destroyed, their rooms altered with evidence of magical spell casting, and their basement filled with evidence of spell casting and magical activity of another sort. After some further exploration, they determined precisely when Rory was taken by this mysterious group that set all this in motion, and just how much power was required to bring him down, and that this group was able to bring to bear. They decided that their next stop would be the university library, where the magical texts they found in their basement, the illicit, forbidden magical texts, are known to be stored. And they arrived to find not all is well at the library here at Midnight in Wellport, episode 4, The Circle Part 2.
Episode 3. Episode 3.
3.
Episode 3.
3. That's why I have assistants, y'all. They correct me as I go. And that's why you should all get one. And that's it for the recap. Anyone else have anything to add?
Rari's cosplay was phenomenal last time.
I was Humphrey Bogart.
Yes.
Also, they trashed our house, and it was super lame.
If
Sure
you
did.
if you do pick someone for Rari to adopt the personality of, please pick someone in color, not someone in black and white.
I mean, that is fair. If you compel his next cosplay and it is something super awkward, that will be both fun and also very difficult for our people to explain. So
Try to keep it wacky.
Tons
Rory
of
has a
opportunities
wacky
for
sense of
chaos.
humor with his shape-shifting.
I'm just hoping that the audience likes being our demigods of chaos. So this will be fun.
That's right on. This format should be a lot more friendly for y'all meddling about. A little less dangerous, a little more chaotic and unpredictable, with a lot of interesting stuff that could come out of it. So I will say I have a lot to keep track of here. So I'm going to be counting on my fellow players here and the Uncanny Pros to let me know when points have been redeemed. I'm not going to be able to keep eyes on that. So shall we say expediently while I'm
We'll
keeping
keep an eye
track
on
of all my notes, etc. So if someone redeems something that's immediately pressing, please let me know either through the chat or just stop me and tell me. It's all good.
Cool.
Are we ready to begin, folks?
Always and never.
I mean, someone just got thrown back into the library with a black tentacle of
Yeah,
smoke. So I
screaming
feel like
is very traumatizing all around.
That is precisely what happened. You arrived at the library, and as you were preparing yourself to try to get in and plot and beginning the skeleton of plotting through how to break into the basement, which is where forbidden, rare, and hidden texts are cataloged, someone tried to flee the library. They were not successful, and all that remains echoing in the night sky as they are pulled back like lightning, like a Venus flytrap closing, like a frog snatching a fly out of the air, is the echoes of their screams.
So I was seeing funny things happen in my brain about an hour ago. Just checking in. Did everybody else see that?
Yep.
Michael's already running towards the door through which she was snatched, and just
Mike sure did.
yep.
All
Yep.
right, Mike.
Let's go.
So we will. And I'll go after.
Ladies?
I'm just shaking my head. I'm probably the last one, and I'm just like, okay.
Well, there we go. The first thing you notice as you charge in to the entrance to the university library is that it's dark. It's really dark. It's more than just every light in the place being off. The human eye can adjust to the absence of light when there's other further away ambient sources like street lights, the lights from neighboring buildings, headlights from the street from driving cars passing by, or stars in the moon even. Very, very rare in any of your experiences darkness this total. It's oppressive. It hangs like a thick pall. It's not long, some 10 or 15 steps into the building before you can't even really see your hand in front of your face. It's like the darkness you'd find at the bottom of the ocean.
I'm using my gun light.
All right. It doesn't work. Oh, it's on. Like if you stare right at it, it hurts your eyes, and there's definitely a beam of light coming from the flashlight. But when you try to employ it against the mien of the atmosphere surrounding you, you find that it is notably and significantly less effective than you would expect at illuminating anything.
Edith?
Hi.
And she'll kind of reach out to try to grab your hand.
I I don't know if I succeed, but probably grab your boob, your back. Sorry. Here we go.
It's like it's okay. We're fine. We're fine.
Everybody roll for sharp.
Oh, need two of these.
6. And
9.
I'm in front.
4.
4.
Perfect. All right. So Edith, thankfully, with her immediate and concerned groping, manages to keep Rose close to her, pulls her in. They stay together, but the rest of you very, very quickly notice that when you hear Rose and Edith sort of demonstrating to each other, realize that you're farther away than you thought you were. In fact, quite a bit. You haven't been wandering into the library that much. It was just an initial charge, and yet you're separated. There's distance between Edith and Rose, Rari and Mike, and it's significant. You
Rory,
do not stay together.
Rory,
Hi, Mike.
stay where I'm coming to you. Rose, Edith, can you hear Rory?
Hello.
Yeah.
Rory, keep making noise. We'll come to you.
Thomas.
You hear
Hi,
nothing
I'm
from
here
Thomas.
in the library.
Edith. Where's
I'm here. Wait, I'm holding her, so there's not distance between us, right?
No, there's distance between you and I and the boys.
Okay.
You two managed to stay together, largely because Edith thought to grab Rose immediately and rolled high enough to stay together.
Edith, where's Thomas?
Did he come in?
He did come in.
Great. I cannot see anything.
Okay.
I want to try to read a bad situation.
Go ahead.
It's an 11.
All right. So you can go ahead and hold 3. Spend your holds.
Okay. Trying to figure out how to do this. I want to help out the girls get to Rory.
Okay.
Is that
Right on. You got to ask questions and obtain information. You can get a +1 to rely on the information you get, but read a bad situation's about information acquisition.
okay? Trying to figure out, will I be able to get closer just by shouting and yelling and figuring out their physical locations? That can help me close the distance with everybody.
You are smart enough to realize that the answer is no. That is, of course, how it should work, but you guys are, if anything, getting more separated, more pulled apart.
Will, what if this is like the forest? Where, like, if we think about things, they happen.
You two know this library. What should we be looking for? Where do you go to find like a help desk or something where you would go?
It's
look for
usually right
information.
at the front. You walk in and see it.
What does it look like? Think about it. Explain it to me.
It's big. It's dark brown. It's like a mahogany color. There's usually
U-shaped.
a really cranky TA there, U-shaped.
A giant printer that doesn't work.
Connected
An
to
old
a computer
computer.
that also doesn't work. And like a whole stack of books that girl will never put away.
Whole place smells highly flammable.
I'm trying to reach out, see if I can feel her. See anything.
You are not around anything, and in fact, the more you try, the more you realize their voice gets more and more faint, and the darkness, if anything, is getting thicker. It feels you've been diving a few times in your life, This is some 300, 400, 500 feet down in the ocean shit. At
It
night.
probably has a dove mixed gas, so it's probably like 180 is about as deep as he's gone. But
You'd know though from training.
but if there's
Going below
dove
300
plenty,
feet at night is
I've
dangerous for
dove
precisely
plenty
this
studies
reason.
first. All right.
What if we try to find a wall?
Don't move. Don't everybody move.
Okay.
Smart. You have one hold left, Mike, if you want to ask me or someone else one more thing.
Rory, you got any spells that might help us out?
Sure, plenty. We want to use them.
I think now's probably not a bad time.
All right, I'm just gonna try and create I hold on. I want to actually. I don't have the thing up. But I would like to use the magic to do one thing beyond normal human capability, and sort of leave a trail of magical breadcrumbs from one of us to each other if I succeed, if that would work in your mind.
That is a humble enough and good idea. I'm going to give you a +1 to your weird roll for it.
Awesome. First time in the campaign, I believe I have rolled max, meaning that is in total 16.
Okay, so not only can you leave this breadcrumb effect exactly how you want, but Edith, who is the only one who rolled well enough to perceive anything through this, you catch a glint from these magical dustings that Rory has started leaving. Just a flash, but you see it.
Okay, I think he's there. Rory,
Edith?
is it continuous? Can I continue to see him, or was it just like a flash?
You can. The initial flash was all that was extremely visible, but you think you can see glints, like very, very far off stars.
Okay. Mike, I see him. I think I'm gonna try to walk that direction. And I'm gonna close my eyes. Rose, close your eyes. We're just walking straight in that direction.
She'll close her eyes and do that, and she's gonna yell out like, "Thomas, if you're listening, do the same stuff, please."
What?
There's no answer.
Thomas, don't move.
I don't even know if he came in the library.
Or if you do move, don't trip over nothing.
Thomas came in.
He was right at your heels.
So I'm walking blind towards where I saw Rory because I'm hoping that even if they're messing with our senses, they can't actually break physics.
I think they already did that.
You gonna bet on that?
No, well, I'm hoping. It's Edith. She's hoping that some rules of normalcy apply.
The further you go in trying to get close to these lights that Rory is leading for you, leaving, pardon. The further away they would seem to get, if you had your eyes open to perceive it, but you don't. So you take several long strides forward, and suddenly you can't hear anything at all.
Rory?
This is bad.
They can't hear you.
Edith? Or that's me. I don't even know what's
Okay,
happening.
you're scared. I'm scared. We're okay.
What if we walk backwards?
I was gonna suggest that earlier, so let's do it. Do we keep our eyes open or closed this time?
I don't think our eyes matter.
Okay, then 5 big steps back.
5 big steps back.
Okay.
Nothing changes. You're adrift in a void.
Don't let go!
So I won't.
When you stop moving after your 5 big strides, you hear taps on tile behind you, to your left, to your right. in front, to your left, behind you, to your right, up front, left, behind, right, up front. Some circling presence. Tap, 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 tap. Back to Mike, who suddenly finds himself very alone, despite doing the smart thing and staying in place until he could figure more out. What do you do?
I want to take a knee and just feel around, see if I can feel anything, over my head, anywhere, see if there's anything I can feel.
Roll sharp again. That is a good decision. Take a +1 to it, in fact.
So that's a total of 8.
So I don't want to do this. 1 second. Screw it. You kneel down fast enough that you, in the confusion, the fact that your depth perception, your spatial awareness is all effed. You go down a little too fast. You don't have great judgment on where the floor is. You bang your knees, hurt your hands, but something happens that you notice sort of after the immediate sharp, ouch, dang, that sucks. Pain goes away. And that's that you can see your hands against the tile floor, whereas before your vision kind of stopped at your wrists.
I'm going to go down all the way to the ground and see if I can peer down and see anything.
This darkness behaves almost like a gas, and a couple inches from the floor is where the barrier stops, turns into just regular night.
All right. Using the gun light, see if I can see anybody's feet.
You can't seem to find any feet, but as you're kind of passing the gun light back and forth because you're a persistent guy, you do think you catch the glimpse of something touching down on the ground, but then it's gone and you can't find it again. Rari, what do you do as you suddenly find yourself alone?
I think that Rari, upon realizing nobody's saying anything anymore, with the way he's been feeling, is just kind of gonna sit down for a minute and see if anything changes. He's going to ride the wave a little bit and just feel this out and say, I don't know if you mean me any harm. But that person you dragged off into the night screaming, they didn't seem to be having a good time. I don't know, whatever you got going on here, whatever bloodthirsty plotter or insidious raving or I don't know, hedonistic madness you got planned. Trust me, I get it. But if you wouldn't mind, leaving the lasses out of it, one of them's got something to me. It would just be polite, from one person who knows a thing or two to another. Or not. Your choice could always burn you alive.
You don't hear anything in response, but when you sit down, you do notice that the twinkly little lights you're leaving on the ground get just a little bit brighter.
I'm gonna go down on all fours and go and see if I can if me increasing my proximity to them does anything else.
The lower you get to the ground, the more the darkness recedes. And the lower you get to the ground and the closer you get to your little twinkly magic lights, the brighter they get.
I'm going to check to see if I have a limitation on something real quick.
Go for it. You can put that in.
So, I am a shapeshifter. I can take any living form I desire within reasonable size. What would you say is a good smallness restriction?
You know what? This is negotiable when
Mhm.
you're fresh, aka not coming just off of a car wreck in a really chaotic few days. I'm gonna say you're a little bit more limited in your magical thresholds right
Fair
now.
enough.
But right now, let's say you get pretty small. You could probably more than halve your size. I doubt you could go like 2 inches, but you could get down to, I would imagine, about a foot or two tall.
I'm gonna be a little Scotty dog, if that's viable.
Sure. Roll
I'll be a
weird.
little Scotty dog. Little
You don't have to roll weird to succeed, but you're rolling
Cool.
weird for something.
All right, sounds good. All right, that one was okay. 8.
All right. You transform into a little Scottish terrier, and your magical lights that you've been leaving behind you, they stay. Sometimes when you're trying to pull multiple magical effects at once, one of them gets unstable.
Mhm.
But your senses, just anatomically, especially your sense of smell and your hearing, elevate a little bit. It's not a magical effect. It's just the new, more honed shape of your ears and how your nose now works. And you hear something very distinct in what you can't hear. The silence is a blanket. It is not natural. And you smell blood, the coppery metallic scent of a lot of blood. And it's really all you can pick out. Rotating around to the girls.
You hear that? Yeah.
I do. I think we should be very still.
Okay.
And I get out my knife.
Smart.
I'm gonna pull out the little bottle of pepper spray.
I can't blame you.
Did you leave your knife at home?
To be fair, I was looking for other stuff. I changed, okay?
Never leave the knife at home again, Rose.
I didn't know we were going to a murder.
Okay.
It's fine.
No, it's not. This is bad.
Oh my God, where is Thomas?
Shh.
The air is getting colder. First, it's subtle, hard to notice, but then it's distinct, a 5-degree plunge, then a 10-degree plunge. And all of a sudden, the taps on tile aren't taps, they're thuds.
We haven't tried just being here. So I'm gonna like pull her down and we're just gonna crouch quietly.
Do you make any moves?
No, because that has not been helpful.
Rose, you inquired about a move that you might want to make.
She's gonna see if she can sense Thomas.
Tell me the rules for that move and let's do it.
Okay, so it's very vague. So it
Good.
says that
It's
I
good for
have
you.
a connection to said person. And that it says that I can roll weird. Where I would roll weird, I can roll charm instead.
Mhm.
And all it really talks about is that we have a bond. It doesn't say anything about what that means.
Roll, and I'll decide what to do based on the result.
Cool.
You have been the only person who's been actually overtly nice to Thomas this entire time.
I'm trying. She got a 10.
I'll give you something. So, as you sink to the ground, the breathing, harsh and mangled, starts growing louder and louder. The thumps getting closer and closer, the air getting cold enough to literally give you goosebumps. And just as you think you can see an outline coming out of the dark of something misshapen, something wrong, and Rose lets out a little squeak, and a figure, an outline of a man, bodily tackles the thing with a grunt of pain, and they vanish into the dark.
Can I like? We're not fast enough to touch anything, are we?
You can do whatever you want.
I mean, I kind of want to reach out to see if I can like. This is stupid, but just reach out to see if I can grab him.
How? You got to tell me how you do that.
So I'm down on the ground.
Are you?
Well, I'm crouching. I'm not like sitting cross-legged. I'm like crouching, so I can potentially like spring forward. So we saw a shape, and he came out of the darkness to flash before our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I would probably try to grab whatever piece of clothing or whatever was there so that he could at least be with us.
You definitely see the back of like the loner windbreaker from the Hospital Lost and Found that Thomas nicked as you guys left the hospital. And you make a reach for it, but you somehow miss it. You think you should be able to grab it based on what little of it you can see, but for some reason it just doesn't work, and it rolls away into the darkness. And you have 5 seconds to share with me the other detail I'm looking for.
Thomas?
Don't.
So in your reach and your grab, you didn't specify that you and Rose stayed touching, so you are now separated.
This is the hold.
Nope, we're done.
All right, rotating back to Mike. All right, man. As the one who can see, despite in a rather compromised position of basically being dang near flat on the ground, what do you do? You're muted, bud.
I'm gonna low crawl as best I can using the gun light to see what I can see. Just have it on continuous. Rory, Rose, Edith, anybody out there? See what I can see, furniture wise, feet wise. Looking for any sort of clue.
So you are more than athletic enough to actually like get around as you do that sort of army crawl. You know what's going on. You can't see or hear anybody until finally in the distance, kind of out of the corner of your eye, and you turn just quick enough to sort of see a flash of it, like two bodies kind of like audibly slam to the ground in a sort of grapple and then raise back into the dark, suffocating cloud that almost hangs in the air like a black smoke now that you can see the disparity. And they're gone again. But you got a clear glimpse. And based on the clothing, you're pretty sure it's Thomas.
I'm going to crawl there as fast as I can, reach up, try to grab through the darkness, even grab anything.
I'm going to have you go ahead and roll for act under pressure. So go ahead and roll your cool. Where are my notes?
That's a 13.
All right. So you go over enough. Like you get there quick enough, and you don't get there quick enough at first to get a grab, but you see them sort of hit the ground again, closer this time, and you almost get there the second time, and they hit the ground again, and you manage to reach and grab just a fistful of clothing. Just you've got a hold of it, and in the chaos, you seem to manage to pull tight and separate Thomas from whatever he's fighting with.
Thomas, what was that?
I can't see. It's strong, and it's bigger than me, and it has a lot of teeth. And you notice that he's bleeding from several places.
Can I tell how bad? Is he anything squirting?
Nah, but some nasty little punctures, but he seems fine.
How did you find it? Or did it find you?
I moved my hand around. When I do that, magic gets weaker, and I managed to keep myself from getting too lost. And I was just fumbling around in a direction that felt good, and I heard it, and then I saw it. It was hunting, and I heard Rose, and she was scared, and I figured it was close, and I attacked.
Right,
It did not go well. Thanks for the help.
I grab one on the back of his belt, and I'm staying down on my knees, staying low to the ground as I can. Try to swing around, see what you can see. Use your arms to dispel the magic. We got to find the girls. We got to find Rory.
Smart. If it comes back, I suggest that we opt for retreat. That, had you not found me and got me away from that thing, I think something really bad would have happened.
Well, we got to find the girls first.
Yeah, all right. Let's go. And he starts leading you through the dark. Rari, we're back to you.
And Rari is trotting along happily. He smells blood. He'll check that out.
Yes, he does. What does he do? He's checking it out. He's just heading in that direction.
Yeah, he's just heading in that direction. Occasionally calling out just in case, like, "Oh, eat it. You're out."
I mean, you can't hear anything, but you're low enough to the ground to sort of navigate, and you can follow your nose. And it's not long at all before you encounter a body. It just looks like a young male. It's going to be easy for the authorities to identify this individual based on his facial features. And it's a good thing too, because pretty much everything below the neck is just a mess. It's just not a good situation. This individual died, and what killed them is the cause of death is being torn to literal shreds. Not a fun way to go.
I am going to look around that body, and then I am going to sniff around pockets, see if I can find, using my dog snout, any like wallet or other thing that might be there.
I mean, yeah, this dude has a wallet. The only thing you can see sort of in the immediate area is bloody prints. If you didn't know any better, you'd say they look kind of like bear claws, if bear claws were even gnarlier.
He's just taken aback by all of this, just like trying to put this together in his head, what might even be responsible, more disbelieving than anything else. And yeah, he'll pull the wallet out and he'll flip it open with his little dog nose and see if it's anybody he'd like recognize or be aware of.
No, you don't know this individual, but you do find a student ID in his wallet.
Okay. Sounds good.
His name is Alan, something you can't pronounce.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, at that point, I will start following the terrible bear blood plop prints.
They're difficult to follow because they abruptly vanish all the time, but you have another way of perceiving them through your nose and through smelling the blood. So you're able to pick up the trail, and it leads you on a rather circuitous journey around this room. But eventually you come to a set of tracks that terminates into almost a smearing. And when you trot over to investigate that smearing, you find the girls.
I will go ahead and undog myself. So for a second, you'd both see a small Scottish terrier with a wallet in his mouth that then becomes a Rory with a wallet in his mouth.
Wait, can we actually see him? And also, were we the smushes of blood?
No, but if you wanted to logically guess, Rory found you through where Thomas hit the mat with this thing.
Hello, ladies.
Can we see each other again?
Yeah. You're close enough. I'm imagining he gets close enough to like actually make some sort of contact.
Okay.
Now, granted, C is generous. You're not like able to pick out the details of each other's faces. But if you ever walked like through a dark night, a really, really, really dark night in the wilderness or something, you become aware of outlines and etc.
Rose immediately grabs back onto Edith.
Rory,
Well,
Have
I
you-
found you.
thank you.
There's something horrible in here. There's some kind of big old bear monster. Something tore this poor kid apart. Name's Alan. His name's Alan.
Did you?
Did you say bear monster?
Thomas,
Oh, I don't know.
was
Something with
fighting
bear
that?
claw feet. Or something like that. Oh, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm real light
That's
on
okay.
details still.
No, you're good.
General shape and size is good to
Mm-hmm.
prepare for.
There was a lot of
Did you-
blood around here. Y'all all right?
Yes, it's not ours.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
Thomas
that's good. That's good
attacked
news.
it.
Oh, well, the bastard's probably not doing well if that's his.
Can we follow this to where Thomas is?
Maybe. And he'll toss the wallet at Edith and turn into a Scotty dog again.
Right on.
Hands on the Scotty dog. Hand on Edith. I have your tiny tail. Sorry, Rory. Feels very personal, but it's nothing personal. I'm sorry.
It doesn't take long between the pair of you sort of fumbling around, following each other's trail, really, that the group manages to reunite. You stumble back into each other again, all of you. You get close enough to where Mike's light can give you some illumination. Thomas is jacked up. His clothes are torn in ragged strips. He's got numerous leaking wounds. His face is scratched up. Mike is fine, and Mike, you notice that the girls are very, very scared, but okay. And Rory is a dog, but you're pretty sure it's Rory on account of he is literally dropping what looks like extra illuminated radiant glitter as he walks.
And I will go ahead and become myself again after a moment. And and I will take a look at
We have.
Thomas and be like,
Wait, did we say we found? Was it Mike that we found? Sorry.
Yeah, we found out.
Mike. It was Mike and Thomas.
And Thomas. That's right.
Yeah, I'll take a look at Thomas and be like, "You doing all right there, buddy? I'm pretty sure I was tracking your blood."
I don't know. I feel like this should hurt more than it does.
We need to get
Um,
outside.
Yeah.
Did you hurt it?
Oh, no way. I tackled it to get it away from Rose, and then I just held on as tightly as I could. It
Thank
tried
you.
to get me off of it. Almost succeeded a few times, but I just grabbed hold.
We need to get
You fig-
outside.
Rory,
You figure any of us could take it?
It's at home here. It can move and see in ways that we can't. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's strong. It's got sharp things. It's got big teeth or something. But I mean, I'm sure if we could get it out in the open, I mean, anything's killable. But this is like trying to take on a shark in a fist fight in the ocean.
Also, how do we get out?
No idea.
Rory, can you do the thing again?
Yeah, I can always do the thing. I don't know how well it'll work. And,
Also-
rules can get different when things are like this.
Yeah, I mean, you would also know, Rory, there's no trail out. You started picking up this thing's trail from its victims.
I don't think we're going to walk out under normal means. Do we think that this is being made by the being itself, or that it's just made this place this way? Because if so, maybe we can take away its advantage.
I'm going to let you roll for read a bad situation to ask that question.
Okay.
Also,
see.
Thomas, thank you.
Sure.
You made it off of that island and you got me off with you. I'm not going to let something else hurt you.
Thanks.
Unfortunately, Rory rolls 5.
So I don't want to do this.
Painfully.
Don't give it to me for free, Father.
Thomas nods at your question and says, I think this environment was made for it, not by it. It didn't feel magical, and I've had a pretty good sense about these things since you woke me up. And he doesn't finish the word up because something grabs you and yanks you off into the dark. Roll
Who?
kick some ass, Rory.
All right, let's go. Oh, okay. That's just roll and add tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then that is 10.
Ooh, very, very good. So you can choose one extra effect. You can take one forward or give one forward to your teammates. You can inflict harm. You can suffer less harm, or you can force a situational advantage. It's up to you, but you get the one extra effect.
Am I being pulled away from them? They're
Oh yeah, you've been snatched like from behind.
okay. I would like to force a situational advantage of being easily trackable.
Yeah, man. So you are grabbed bodily from behind, and you feel claws sink hard in your back. This thing isn't yanking you back by like a hood or your collar. It's yanking you back by you. And you suffer 3 harm minus any armor you've got. I don't know what your natural armor is, if you have anything magical or whatnot, but it's a 3 harm attack. But you're a very, very experienced magic user, and the damage does not break your concentration. And your light effect, your breadcrumbs, they remain for the others to see.
All right,
Mike, what do you do? I'm imagining you'd be the one who reacts first.
I'm going to try to lunge at whatever it is. Since I'm using my pistol, try to get a hold of it and start putting rounds into it. I'm sure I'm not putting rounds into Rory.
You're gonna lunge. You're gonna take a shooting stance and shoot. Those two things seem like they kind of blur together. What?
No, go ahead and grab so I know what I'm shooting at and just start putting rounds into it.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and have you roll for tough then.
Okay.
And you're not gonna take any penalty because you know where to lunge for.
9, so 11.
All right. So you manage to lunge, and You grab Rory by the shirt collar because it's all you can really grab, and you yank him forward. He yelps in pain because something's got him by the back muscle, but you pull him close, you aim, and you just start emptying rounds from your pistol into this thing. And you hear a muffled, sharp, very inhuman screech. And it lets go of Rari, but not before it whips its arm around and takes a hit into your chest. You're going to take 2 harm, 1 minus because it's a retreating attack. But you get laid into in the chest area pretty roughly.
Let's
When it
get
comes
out of here.
around, can I slash it?
It's your turn. What do you want to do?
While the thing is coming around, I would like to slash it because I still have my knife out.
I'm going to have you roll 2 things, all right? First, I'm going to
Uh-huh.
have you read a bad situation.
Okay. So I rolled 8 and I add which? Sharp?
You roll sharp, I believe sharp, yep.
Oh, yeah. So 9.
Oh, okay. So, why don't you tell the audience, because I really don't care, how you're able to track its movements after it releases Rari, takes a swing at Mike, and tries to circle around back for another attack. Tell the audience how you're able to track it, know it's coming.
So Rory is, I'm assuming, slightly glowing. He's like shedding his little fireballs. And so there's a residual glow. And my eyes have adjusted. And I don't know quite how many limbs this thing has. But as he falls, it reaches around. And I'm standing right by Will. So I see it come right in front of me. It has to go in front of me to get to him. So as that happens, I try to take a shot at that thing that's trying to get it.
All right,
at
you
Michael.
warrior. I'm going to go ahead and give you a +1 on kick some ass. Roll for tough.
Ooh.
Edith's got instincts.
Actually, can I use Power of Heart and roll cool instead?
You sure can.
For that.
That's a valid move. Is there any
So-
cost to that in luck or in, you know the move, I don't.
Let's see here. I automatically help as if I rolled a 10. So
Okay, there you go.
I rolled a 10.
You rolled a 10. That means you get 1 extra effect. Gain an advantage to take 1 forward or give 1 forward to someone else. You can inflict terrible harm, which is +1 harm on your attack. You can suffer less harm if it gets a dig in at you.
I'll
Or you can
inflict
force
extra
the
harm because I would like this thing to be dead.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Or at least scared of us.
So you're taking terrible harm.
To the thing, yeah.
Okay. So
Taking terrible harm is ambiguous.
terrible harm is just the effect for adding 1 harm for.
I understand the phrasing.
I got you. More harm on account of kitchen knives do not hit that hard. So you track it, you sense it circling around, and you just have this 6th sense that it's going to come for you or for Rose. You've presented as more vulnerable, so you just know you've got an instinct by now, sort of how things like this think, and when it circles around to come, you guess right, and it tries to grab out, and it gets its claws into your shoulders, and you take 2 harm, but you have your knife out in front of you, and it pulls itself onto your blade and immediately rips free from your shoulder muscles with a howl. And Rose, it's your turn.
Okay, so since I'm right next to Rose, I saw that. Thank you. I swear we're never gonna learn our names. When I see it dig into her, oh god, I hate that. She's going to lean over and pepper spray it in the face.
And
You know
also
what? You're doing that. I'll tell you what. You're doing that from range with a very unconventional
Sorry,
weapon.
that's all.
So I'm going to have you roll tough -1. You're
Okay.
not in harm's way. All you can do is fail this. It's not going to hit you if you don't.
Cool. Okay, it could have been much worse. Okay, so is it an additional -1 to the -1 I already have?
Yep, it's -2.
Okay, so it's 6 total.
Oh yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So you just let off. You can't see, you can't aim. So you torch both Edith and this thing with pepper spray. Edith, you are disabled condition, half blind for the next 10 minutes, and the pain is stupefying. It's just as bad as the claws in your shoulder. But you hear the thing rage and screech and croak and hiss. It did not expect this awful noxious fluid. You maybe got a little into its mouth, a little bit
Good
into
job,
whatever
Rose.
function
Good job, Rose.
eyes, and it is hissing. And what that does is inflicts a little bit of harm and creates an advantage for Thomas, who, there we go, rushes over, tackles the thing again. This time comes at it from behind. You see him sort of grab it and roll it to the ground, almost in a crocodile roll. You lose track of him and it in the darkness, but you hear and then silence. Mike and Rory, you are together and now bleeding from some fairly shallow on the whole, but nasty wounds.
Oh, hello again, Mike.
Can you see where it is? Can you smell anything? I'm getting down to the ground, see if I can.
I can feel a few things.
Where are the girls? I'm trying to get down low on the ground again, see if I can see anything.
You find them easily enough.
Okay.
Where's Thomas?
I think
You hear
Oh, sorry.
Ain't it? You're right.
Rory, see if you can get the girls outside. I'm gonna go find Thomas. I try to crawl
No,
towards Thomas.
no, we're not wandering
we should stay
nowhere.
together.
As a group. Oh my god, Edith. Oh my god, just breathe.
Help him.
Thomas. I'm crawling towards choking.
you shine your light on a nasty scene. There is a thing. There's a body, almost insectoid in nature. Has a carapace, black, blind, armored, almost like a scorpion or a crustacean. No tail, though. 3 legs, tripedal. The legs are vicious little spikes terminating into weird, hairy, clawed feet. Its top half, something out of a horrific nightmare. A praying mantis meets a crayfish meets something with too many teeth. And the claws at the end of its hooking arms are vicious, 4 on each hand, designed to grab. It doesn't have a face. You just see a smattering of carapace, blood, and weird green blood and weird goop and shattered teeth all over the place, where Thomas has literally stoved this thing's head all the way in. But as you shine your light up, you see that this thing's claws have gone right into Thomas's throat and its death throes.
It's not a
Thomas?
bear.
Are you okay?
No. Should I pull this out, Mike?
What his claws are
He
actually
can't
stuck like in his
die.
trachea, or
Yep, just stuck right there. One of the claws is free, and one of the claws is kind of dug into his neck meat, sort of back here. But the other 2 are, they're right in the pipe.
We have to pull him out.
All
Well,
right.
remember, we hit him with a bomb.
I'm going to try to
before.
pull it
He'll
out
be
and get
all
ready.
right.
I'm going to pull it out and see if I can see if there any blood starts squirting. Just pull it out hard.
Roll tough.
Oh, holy cow! I am going to use a luck point because that was a total of 5. That's almost as bad as I can possibly roll.
All right. Use luck.
Yeah.
Mark it.
Yep,
You-
I have 1 left.
Feel sort of the resistance. It's like the thing is turned almost statuesque and rigid in death. So it fights you. And you're pulling hard, but you encounter more resistance than you're expecting. So you just stop before you try to force it too much and do too much damage accidentally. And you kind of adjust your grip, pull back with your whole body in terms of like falling backwards. You pull the claws free of Thomas's neck, but the force of your falling backwards sort of rips the thing's arm off, and it just kind of crumbles. First into pieces, then into dust, almost like ash or sand. And Thomas claps his hand to his throat to suppress a huge squirting gout of blood and starts writhing on the floor. He is pale and his eyes are wide and his mouth is streaming blood. He can't speak.
Roll over to your side. Try to get in there and see if his mouth is clear. Start spitting whatever you can out.
Do we
Now
bandage it?
I know what you're all thinking, but I promise, at a size that large, giant bug monster and bear have very similar looking feet.
Rory.
He'll be all right.
Oh my god.
blew him up
She'll pull
before.
off her sweat jacket
Yeah,
and she's like,
it's-
can we use it to just stop all the blood?
It's not going to help much. Has his bleeding slowed down any?
His hand is clutched to it, but you can see it's leaking through his fingers and he's hurt.
I'm gonna just go ahead and I can't see very well, but I'm like,
I'm sorry.
Rose, help me with this.
Okay, and
And
she'll
like-
run over.
Tearing part of my shirt, like tie this around. Just help him.
Okay, Thomas, I'm gonna fix this. Okay.
You can't put a tourniquet around his neck. It's not going to help.
Something.
Just to hold this. Oh my god.
Michael, do you have
That's
a
okay.
better idea?
Thomas, are you doing better?
Okay.
We push
Should
it
I
into
magic
the
at
hole.
you, Thomas?
Is it still dark out here or dark inside?
Oh, yeah. But you're noticing it's starting to lessen a little bit as this whole scene sort of unfolds.
So
Edith, I'm so sorry.
use the pepper spray again if you have to. Apparently they don't like it.
It's not a good move. Just forgot.
Oh
He's-
god, Thomas.
He said
Thomas,
it was a good move.
Can you move if I help
did
you?
great, regular Tom. You got another one.
Rory, are you okay? Because you were also bleeding horribly.
Back's torn to all hell.
Let's
I'm
find our
gonna
way
do
outside.
something about that.
Okay, yep, outside. And she'll like offer
Everybody
Thomas-
grab onto the person's
Oh.
belt in front of them.
Mike, you notice now when you sweep your light around and it hits the darkness, it actually seems to be banishing it. And where you sweep the light through doesn't come back. In fact, it's almost as if the darkness is now retreating from your flashlight.
Oh, you got like a light
Shine around
paintbrush.
everything.
Hmm?
I shine around everything until I can see the whole room.
You banish this dark manipulative cloud. It is almost as if something was resisting you before, and now it's not. And it takes a good minute to sort of clear it out. It's as if your light is a sheet of fabric, and you're creating like a fan effect to blow this awful, dark, glamorous smoke away. But you get the room cleared, and all of a sudden, with almost a weird jerk, a confusion of the senses, and about a bout of nausea sort of hits you all. But as your senses sort of realign to their present reality, but you find yourself in a regularly dark, lightless lobby of the Western Seaboard's newest and most prestigious library facility.
Are there still dead bodies here? At least one dead body?
Oh yeah, there are bodies. You could generously call them bodies. The gentleman that Rory found is probably the most intact in the room. The rest are in pieces. So I suppose you could kind of qualify it as maybe they were one body at one point in time, but now they're bodies.
All right.
I want the guy to be ID'd okay. So I will put the wallet back after checking to see if there are any valid gift cards or other such items that might make for a more interesting Saturday night.
You find $43 in a gift card and a $20 gift card that has been used before to an extent you don't know for Well Perk coffee.
All right. Well Port coffee gift card and $43. Perfect. I don't think that will be the difference in funeral costs or not, so I happily take it and put the wallet back.
Rose, Edith, is there another way out of the library if we go down there?
Didn't we just kill the big bad? Shouldn't we make sure it's
I
all
wanna-
gone?
Let's see what else is down in the library. That's why we came here.
Okay, can we let Thomas and Rory recover?
I don't know how much time we have.
Oh,
We're doing great.
Rory, how are you doing?
Just bloody brilliant. I can try and magic it back, but same rules as always applies.
We could try to
Didn't get
find
that one.
We could try to.
And he coughs and spits forward what can only really be described as like a golf ball sized clot. And then he removes his hand from his neck, and his wounds don't look as bad as they should. And he kind of shakes his neck and touches it tenderly. Do you heal?
Not, like people do.
You'll be all right then. I took a cut to the head during the car wreck. When I woke up, it was gone within 5 minutes. I figured I'd be all right.
Yeah, I figured you'd be all right too. All these ones were worrying. What's wrong with them?
Rose, do you think besides that pepper spray to use in case we get attacked again?
No, she does not.
Here,
I'm so sorry.
I give you a belt shiv. It's like a small, like a prison shiv he had stuck in his belt.
Let this be a lesson to you, Edith. We need a bloody sword lying around the apartment. What if I told you?
To be fair, I wouldn't have taken that either.
So let's go check out the basement quick. I don't know how much longer we have before somebody shows up to figure out what happened
The
here.
pepper spray was a good idea. The
It was.
last time it mauled me, this time I mauled it. That's you.
Keep it.
I
Keep
will.
it.
I will. I promise I'll
I
get
know
better
the
at it.
rules say that the 9mm doesn't have to reload. I'm gonna go and do attack mag reload while I have the chance.
Oh, you're fine. So, as you sort of take stock of this lobby, do you want to try to go for a light, or are you just going to try to book it for?
I want to get down to the basement, check out the
Okay.
books as quickly as we can.
So there are really sort of two routes you can take. You can find a wall and sort of circle around to the back where there's the stairwell, and you could just kind of books straight through, and you'd be running through the stacks a little bit. The as Edith and Rose would know, the rare and forbidden books section is sort of the crown jewel of Felton University Library. It is the largest and most valuable rare books collection and catalog this side of the Appalachian Mountains, if we're being quite frank. You know that the entrance is not really advertised. Typically, you need professorial authorization as an undergraduate to even get down there. And there's going to be a cage at the bottom of that stairwell that, as far as you know, there are only 2 keys for. There's the key that the head librarian has, and then usually there's a key that can be checked out via some digital method from a lockbox that the front desk attendant can't help with. You guys would know this, as your majors would have required you to access on a couple of occasions, like 2 or 3 times, texts down there.
We should go by the desk.
Rose is like, I could send the request through. And then Edith, well, we would just do it through the computer, right? I don't have my phone.
I mean, it's in a lockbox in this drawer. Can't we just hit the lockbox?
Yeah, let's not leave any evidence that we were here, like a digital login.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
do you think this place has any of them cameras? What were the reason I couldn't just take everything from the Wendy's? Because
Probably.
if so, we should probably get rid of those, because it'll just be a video of the lights coming back on and us being around a bunch of corpses.
In fairness, the cameras already have us. So let's finish this and then disable the cameras. For the
All
whole-
right. So Edith, why don't you start working on disabling the camera storage, wipe it out, and Rose, why don't you see if you can get into the lockbox? At least show where the lockbox is.
Okay.
So it's a sort of a fairly modern mini safe. And it's just readily accessible right behind the front desk. It is tied via some sort of cable hookup, some sort of USB-C connection to the front desk computer. And it is clearly tied to some sort of login system, but it gets a signal from the computer, from the tower, to open. You have seen these a lot in larger formats in modern evidence lockers, which are, as you would know just from sort of your experience, having reviewed evidentiary files and whatnot, now typically controlled via outside access. So in a lot of modern police precincts, these modern evidence lockers, they can't even let you in on site. They've got to call it into an outside operator. It's the same sort of system. This one is just obviously smaller and localized.
You an idea, Rose?
Rose wants to start digging around the desk a little bit. She's like, well, college students have to be able to access it, so there's probably a sticky note with the username and password. And she'll start looking around, like under the keyboard, in a couple, if there's any books on the desk.
You find some visitors' logs. You find some cards with barcodes on them. You find some office supplies, paper clips, pen and pencils. You find a purse and a handbag, but you don't really find anything that looks like login information. Also, the computer's off. There's no power.
Right.
Can
So my best
Rory-
guess would be to just break into it.
Go ahead, Mike.
If we cut the power, from what I know about these systems, that like some sort of fail-safe that'll lock and you can't open it then?
You can read a bad situation and see if you know that.
Okay, so that's a 12. Not natural.
Almost certainly, if you unplug any hard connection, this thing's probably got its own power source on it, some sort of small fail-safe battery. If you try to tamper with it in any way, not only is it likely to lock down, if it's even remotely a more modern version of this kind of device and not the ones that came out 2 or 3 years ago, there's going to be some sort of alarm. Digital, silent, but definite.
I just don't understand how I walked out of there with those books.
You were casting spells. You might be able to do magic. You might not have walked out. You might have walked out the door. You might have walked out through some other door we don't have access to now.
Just seems like a lot of work to keep these locked up to just let anybody. Even if I did it, I would be a baby witch, wouldn't I?
Edith, roll sharp.
Rose?
Rose, sorry. You guys are confusing me. But you know what? Edith, roll it too. Tell me what your results are.
Okay, 10.
Me? I'm over trying to break into the computers because he told me I couldn't smash the lockbox.
Which
Just
then
roll it.
Rose immediately went and said, I think we're going to have to smash it.
So
But did you still want me to roll?
I do, because you guys did work study at different various times of your
8.
backstory. You got an 8?
Mhm.
All right. So just give me 5 seconds to figure out how I'm gonna. Thank you for your patience.
I'll pull us all back since we're. He's like,
No.
"Hola."
No, I got it. So Edith, you remember when these devices were first installed, because that's when you had your work study in the library. I figured it out. In their earliest iteration, this would have been what, like 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
They were brand new, but the security mechanisms were a little bit more rudimentary. So you remember when you were being onboarded that there was some kind of methodology you could do where you went on the computer to release the lock, but there was also some kind of way, some kind of reader that you could insert via USB-C where certain faculty could swipe cards for access to the first layer of cages, which you remember the forbidden and rare book section has 2 layers of cages. It's in a circular fashion. The first outermost layer, rare books. The innermost layer, forbidden texts, or texts that are somehow controlled.
I would imagine, since we're not in Harry Potter land, we would just call them banned books.
Yes. I mean, Wellport is a very tourist-heavy town that likes to embrace its sort of occult sideshow nature. And such fantasy novel-esque sounding things are very widely accepted as the parlance of this municipality. It's an inside joke.
Yes, well, Edith just calls them banned books.
Yeah, ever the rebel.
Okay, so all we have, guys, if
And now, Rose. We'll see if you guys can put this together. Rose, you work studied here last semester or thereabouts. You remember the security update that restricted use to a smaller set of cards, but you know the one way the system can be gamed, and that's that there's no front desk attendant to police what comes out of that strong box. If you can get it open, all the keys you need are there.
the strong box that has an alarm on it.
Only if you open it illegitimately or try to somehow defeat it using wire or hard mechanisms.
So, just so I'm following, the box itself, is it require a key or a code?
It can be accessed by either an outside reader that can be hooked into a USB under the handle, or it can be accessed through computer permission, which you would know includes logins, passwords, and an employee professorial ID.
Did Alan have a professor or a student ID in his wallet?
Got a student ID.
It was student.
Do you want me to go steal his wallet again?
What? Don't you still have his wallet?
No, I gave
Put
it
it
back.
back.
Oh.
I can get it again though.
I hate this, but we could
Yes.
look around. There's a purse here.
I could also check out the other bodies, the ones that have, intact pockets.
Let's
Let's go start looking for other wallets and
all
purses.
the pockets.
Other
and also,
student
Rose-
IDs. He's putting on shooting gloves first. There's like fingerprints.
I
Yeah.
take
Smart
I
man.
take no such precaution.
Yeah, Edith.
Your fingerprints probably aren't on file.
They're probably like the comedy and tragedy symbol or something weird like that.
Yeah, Rose, look at the purse.
Okay. And she'll start digging through the purse that had been on the station.
This purse belongs to an Amy Curry, who you both know is a freshman work study student who works the night shift
Was
at the front
a
desk.
freshman student.
Oh god.
odds aren't good for her.
Oh, she was so nice.
So we just need. There are no professor offices here in the library, are there?
I mean, the closest thing you got is the head librarian, who you would also know is the vice chair of the library sciences graduate department.
Right. So is that office open?
Y'all wouldn't believe how detailed my notes for these adventures get.
I want
You
to
can
check if that
go.
person's dead.
You can go check.
I would like to go check and see if there is a card or login information there.
All right. So we're going to do different stuff. So we'll go one at a time. First, we're going to go to Rari and Mike, plundering bodies.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for student IDs.
You find a couple of them, like for sure. They were just kids here studying. Something that's notable to you for your background is a lot of this must have happened really, really fast, because these bodies are not sort of like strewn about as if the living wandered. But you find the one that's perfectly illustrative of what I'm saying is there's a rather viciously savaged form sitting right at one of the study tables. Like, this happened very, very quickly.
All right. Can I see what they were studying? Is there any sort of pattern? Any sort of...
One of them seems to be like some sort of math. The other one is over an organic chemistry textbook, and the other one was typing away at a now very blood-soaked and dead laptop.
All right, grab all
There aren't
IDs.
many people in this late at night.
Grab the IDs I have and take them over to the desk where Edith and Rose are working.
Cool. Rari.
Yeah, just checking on bodies, checking other wallets, looking for any other identifiers. If we could get a professor card, that would be awesome. Alternatively, any clues I can find are great.
Go ahead and roll for investigate.
Investigate. Oh, good roll. Good.
Ah,
Okay, plus sharp. It's -1, but still a 10.
dude, hold 2. You can ask 2 questions.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Okay. Ooh, can I hold on to one of them or anything? In case I feel like it's
There's
gonna be
no
more relevant in a
pressing
minute?
danger, so yeah, I'll let you hold.
Okay, so, but first one, to enter the area we need, do we think that there are other ways of physical entry, especially in a way that, like, power and everything seems kind of, I don't know, it's probably not in the best shape. So maybe security isn't quite as tight. Maybe I could get in through a vent or any other such thing.
I'll give you an answer to that question if you spend a luck point. Otherwise, I'll let you ask
Unfortunately,
something else.
they don't exist. I don't think I've had one since the first session.
You know what? You've had enough good ideas. I'm going to go ahead and spot you one. The dog
Yay.
was interesting and incredibly effective for what I spec the monster out for. So I'll go ahead and spot you one.
Okay, perfect.
You have been auditing classes in the most fly-by-night, Home Alone inspired fashion since you arrived at this university that anyone could possibly possibly imagine. You're not a student at Felton because you'd need things like a birth certificate to become a student at Felton, and you don't have any of that stuff. But you have learned, to your amusement, being a grand manipulator of the human condition that you are, that if you just show up to enough places and act like you belong there, it could get you pretty far. So you've been down to the basement a few times. You just wanted to research magic, history, esoteric cosmicism, that kind of stuff, just because you're curious. But you ended up getting frustrated both times you went down there because you don't really understand this modern system of cataloging, and research is just not one of your strong suits as far as skills go. But you have been there, and you remember in particular of 3 separate trips to the basement. You remember the second. You managed to get down there by hitching a ride with the head librarian and a graduate student she was with. You forged a permission slip from one of the Edith's professors and sort of insinuated yourself into their little duo to get downstairs. And you know that there is an elevator in the head librarian's office.
I just remembered something. We should go after Edith. Mike, I think I may have a decent way in.
What's that?
And I don't even have to turn into a possum, which was what I was maybe thinking of doing. Come on.
All right, let's
Assuming
go.
you share it with Mike.
He just did.
Yep. Let's just head out.
You go after the girls, but we'll go to the girls first real quick. See what they do. Three cheers for Chloe, who is expertly handling all these switch arounds. She's the best. All right, right on. I want you to tell me what you guys are doing.
You first, Edith.
I am over in the head librarian's office looking for security cards or passcodes of some kind to get into that stupid box. Although I'm very frustrated because I feel like we're missing something obvious.
There's not a lot that you can find. That's not really how the system worked. It was designed to defeat such base errors as random things written down that could be left around and found.
And there's nothing. So really what we need is the code.
Code or a card, and then a way to get the computer back on to input the code.
Right. So I would like to look around the office, but I'm guessing I find nothing. That's what you said. I find nothing.
I mean, if you want to find more than nothing, you're going to have to make a move. Look at your playbook and call your move.
So I would like to investigate a mystery, I guess.
Perfect. That's absolutely correct. Go ahead and roll for it.
So, oh, well, that's fabulous. That is a 4. So,
You don't find Jack. Moving over to Rose.
I found exactly nothing.
Edith, it's okay. You've never been back here. You weren't what folks would say the most committed student employee or the most committed undergraduate researcher. So your interaction with this space is largely what people told you to do and what your duties demanded. And
Probably still recovering from being maced. So,
yeah, I mean, there's some of that. I'll tell you what, you find some tissues, which helps with the copious amount of agonizing and semi-bloody snot that is issuing from most of your facial orifices.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yep. Why don't you go ahead and get that cleaned up, get that voided from your body, and we'll check in with Rose over here on what she's doing.
I'm so stumped. Because
Y'all
Edith
are
went to
very
check on the
close.
office. I feel like it's got to be a code, or if she's been here, like, she's been there before.
Yeah.
Can
What
I?
kind of student employee were you, real quick? Were you diligent? Were you enthusiastic?
She was a hard worker. She very much did everything she could. She loves books.
You've been back here a few times. Yeah? Then go ahead and roll investigate, but give yourself a +1 bonus
Okay.
for your
Okay.
diligence and situational knowledge of the situation in which you find yourself.
Okay. So that is a 8.
All right. So you remember distinctly that the head librarian would go into sort of a side room and side closet in her office, like a lot, like more than storage space or a place to hang a coat or something, just a lot. So I'm imagining you'd think to check there.
She'll rush over.
Yeah. There is a panel back there with a lever.
Hey, I'm gonna do a thing, and she'll pull the lever.
There you go. And now let's bring the whole crew back, because at this time I feel like Rory and Mike would catch up. And I'm just imagining Thomas is just sort of teetering around, following the ladies, bleeding everywhere. Just reeling, not living his best life, but just being present.
I thought of it. Oh, you got it, Rose.
Yeah, it sure did. You get there just in time. She pulls the lever, which is enough to raise a false wall in the back. And it sort of clicks for you, Rose, that, yeah, this is one of the security improvements that they put in during your time working there. It's a little bit James Bondy, but the purpose, especially for a government-funded library with tech like this, is to allow the head librarian a chance to get to the bottom before potential thieves or robbers after locking down her office and initiating some sort of fail-safe that conceptually exists down in the basement that locks it down for a period of an amount of hours you don't remember, but locks it the hell down. This is literally a shortcut that was installed to give a library worker the chance to beat thieves to the bottom, as it were. And
if we get in, we're not stuck down there with it. We can get back up, right?
you have no idea.
Assuming nobody clicks a failsafe, we're probably fine.
Right. So nobody touch anything, any levers or buttons or.
Go ahead, Edith.
Did anybody actually take care of the cameras? Because I got sidetracked.
Could be down there.
You know what? I'm gonna
that's my other question.
For the person who knows, Mike, go ahead and roll sharp.
No. DM, I make this my other question.
Okay, go ahead.
Because that would make sense.
Go ahead.
Yeah. In my lurking, where do I know the security system hub to be located?
I'm going to preserve that question depending on the results of Mike's roll. It might not be worth taking your hold from you. You might want it later.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and let him roll real quick.
Total of 9.
Yeah. Mike, you would know that any modern security system, unless its recording software was literally completely remote with its own independent generator, aka like the U.S. Mint or Federal Reserve or Capitol building, would be tied to local power. If the power is out in this building, the cameras are down.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that makes
you keep
sense.
your hold, right?
Cool.
And Mike would know that on account of he's disabled a security system or two in his time. The best way to do that sometimes is from the fuse box, not from the mainframe. All right. So the first thing y'all notice when you look in this little impromptu elevator shaft is that it's empty. There's no elevator.
The elevator is down.
Literally.
Down or up, you think?
How far of a drop is it?
It's a good 10 feet. Nothing like leg breaking, but
so just hang from the thing, drop down the rest of the way.
Are there cables?
Yes.
I toss something against them to see if they're electrified. Like a
Yeah, just like a stapler or something. I'll give you that. They're not.
They're going to be really slick, though. They're covered with grease. You're not going to be able to use them effectively to climb.
Can't we just drop down?
Yeah, I've got like
Okay.
no upper body strength, so
Just to test out his new moves, Rory's gonna sort of cartwheel down to it.
You land on your feet, and with the one consequence being just a couple of smecks of dust on your shoulder that you
Sounds
get
good.
off of that real quick, very smoothly, of course. Minimal
I
motion.
I just put my arms up, ladies.
I'll help
After you, Rose.
Rose Eve down if they need to.
okay.
All right, is that what you do?
Yeah, just like
So when you look up, you see what became of the elevator, which is now mashed in a absolutely destroyed heap against the ceiling of the shaft.
I don't say anything to them.
All right.
That is the smartest thing you could do.
You all get down just fine.
All
It's
right.
not an extreme distance. I would imagine, due to Mike's methodology of going low and examining his grips, Mike, you see it too.
We're gonna see it on the way up. So.
So the elevator did not take somebody down; it was moved and destroyed.
Got it. Got it,
It
guys.
was moved up from the basement.
Hard to tell what level it was at when it was tampered with. All you know is that it was crushed like a Coke can against the ceiling of the shaft.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull a pistol out again.
It's probably pretty wise. The rest of you?
I've got a book.
I was gonna say, I think I have like a half a spray left.
What
Still have
kind
the
of
shield I
pepper
gave you?
spray can is this? It only has one spray?
She was pretty heavy on the trigger there.
She was like this. For like
Yes,
60
she did not
solid minutes.
apply skeptically. She applied liberally. Okay.
You didn't drop the shiv, did you?
No, I have that too.
I have my knife.
You know,
I'm sorry. The image of a fairly well put together college girl with a switchblade and a pepper spray can, like, it's a great image. Like, come get some. It burns. It stings. The light just went down in a heap. That gave me a bloody heart attack. This is we're doing horror here, and stuff in my room is falling down. I need a minute. Okay, about leapt out of my skin on that one. So it doesn't take y'all much to force the door at the bottom of the shaft open. It's designed to stay closed, but it's a basic spring and lever system. You're able to force it open by helping each other and find yourself in a dark row of musty stacks, and you hear voices. And now's a good time for a break.
Cool. Well, I will let everybody go, and we will hold on one second. Elle, do you want to go first?
Yes, please.
All right. So
Okay.
for those of you who are new, we are going to do some brief announcements. The regular stream will be back in about 5-ish minutes. So if you need to go grab a snack or something, now is the time. But we shall entertain you by letting you know what else we are working on as a group. So Elle.
So first up is GUI Cube. If you guys have been following us for a while, you know we used to play Darkest Dream and then Coldest of Blood, the Red Star Rising campaign. If you're new here, I work for a company called GUI Cube, and we make 5th edition adventures for Dungeons and Dragons. They're super cool. They're super exciting. If you want to check them out, go to our About Us section and click the GUI Cube button. It'll take you there. But what I want to talk about is not tomorrow, but Thursday night at about 4 or 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we are doing the Great GUI Dungeon Giveaway game show, which is a huge 3-hour event hosted from Genghis Khan in Denver. It's really exciting. It's this huge interactive dungeon game show where you're actually able to vote on stuff. If you can join us in Denver, that's awesome. We have all kinds of cool in-person stuff. But if you can't, all you have to do is go to twitch.tv/thegooeycube. You'll find us, and you can actually be a part of Team Twitch, who gets to affect one of the players on stage and actually have a shot at earning all kinds of prizes. We have thousands of dollars worth of prizes. They're super cool. They're really exciting. If you're, like you just want to support me in some stuff, I'm Team Colopia and I'll be the team captain. So if you're in person, you can be on Team Colopia and hang out with me. Next up is we do have some merch stuff. We're working on all sorts of really cool Welcome to Wheelport, super cool things. Like we had said, we were moving the store shortly. So this is probably your last-ish week to be digging through our old store, finding cool stuff there. Team Twitch's character is Glenn, a Aloof Puppet. It's very exciting. I believe Team Captain Riley is in charge, but we'll see. All I know is I'm Team Colopia because I fought tooth and nail for her.
As you should have.
I mean, I was literally like, I don't want to do it if I can't be Colopia. And they were like, okay, well, that's unrealistic, but you can have her. But it's so cool. It's really exciting. Our new store will be opening really soon with all kinds of new stuff. I mean, Chloe saw like a sneak peek of some things today.
So
it was
cool.
Very cool. And then my last little announcement bit is if you guys are just excited about Elle's side project, Fateful Designs or Fatefully Elle on Etsy, I have sticker samples that I literally brought down here to show off because I got new stuff in. So we have these really cool, this is a Chewinga. So if you play Icewind Dale, this is a character in that. This is a super cool castle from my podcast game, which is a while away, but it's really cool. I have this super cool lovers piece and I have it in gold. And then what we're really excited about is the tarot card series. So I'm going to be doing a full deck of tarot card stickers and then eventually a tarot card. But these are the first 5 and they are available right now. If you're curious, you can go to the About Us section and click Fateful Designs, and it should take you to me.
Woo!
And this is the last one. So if you're just curious about what Elle's ever up to, that's where you can find super cool stuff. And there's new stuff all the time because I'm constantly coloring. So
new stuff every day. Well, thank you, Elle.
Thank you. I will see you guys in a few minutes.
For real though, guys, check out Genghis Khan here in Denver. It should be fun. Bill, how's the new project coming?
Slowly. I am not computer savvy. I'm so close, but it's just I've launched a new business and we are publishing our first supplement here very soon for martially oriented D&D characters, and I'm going to be working on modules and another one for arcane characters. But I'm just waiting on some artwork for the martial one. It'll probably be on our Drive-Thru RPG. I'll have it for my website too, which is rough, but I'm working on that too. But
cool.
It's coming soon.
So more D&D resources for everybody.
Yes.
Fabulous.
If you're an old school style, you'll enjoy it. Even if you're not, you'll find a lot of it cool. So
I feel like people who don't know old school style, they'll just be like, should just try it.
yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of curious. What do you mean by old school? Because I'm a brand new player, so I don't even know what that means. I'm just immediately like, Stranger Things?
Well, more it's somewhat realistic medieval life in general. My basic philosophy is the world should be somewhat close to actual medieval Europe, which is 1,000 years and thousands of miles. So you can't specify one specific thing, but people live pretty rough lives and they're very concerned with the spiritual. There's a difference between D&D and medieval Europe. Medieval Europe is monotheistic and D&D is not, but there's still people who are spiritual. They're concerned with where they're going to go when they die because they're going to die pretty soon and their life isn't very pleasant. And I'm going to do a video series about the differences between your character in D&D and your character, who you are in real life. Because if you're a D&D character, you probably had half your siblings die before they reach adulthood, and one of your parents probably died too. So, and they got remarried because that's just what everybody did. So, just kind of things we don't even think about, but that was life was like for the average person in medieval Europe. So, different if you're a dwarf or an elf, maybe, but I don't know.
I mean, time is so different for those races, so I would imagine. Yeah. It would be different, but the same.
It depends also. I mean, there's so many differences. do dwarves have the high mortality rate that humans did during the Middle Ages? And you can there's no right or wrong answer. It depends on how your world's set up.
Yeah.
But
Interesting story implications all around.
I get into that whole geek out about what life is like, the different different races and cultures, how things are different, and that sort of thing. And just another thing about old school gaming is characters die a lot. If stupidity is painful. If you do something stupid, you get killed. And,
Got to roll a new one. Here we go.
Yeah. That used to, if you had a character make it to 7th level, that was pretty impressive back in the old days. But
fair enough. Cool. Well, thank you. We will have more. Dan is up next with a very cool podcast.
Yes, if anybody is looking for another cool, gaming experience to check out, I was a part of a pretty neat Mage the Ascension 5th edition podcast. It was actual play. We did some World of Darkness adventures. There was some doom, some gloom, some blood, some sads. It's really got the whole spectrum of human emotions just in this one podcast, and we're giving it to you, our fair viewers, for free, but only if you listen to it exactly when the stream is done. Buy now for free. It is a mature rated podcast. Things definitely get pretty heavy. So, if you come, just be prepared for a hard time. Probably, it is still being edited and released, but in all honesty, Ian, I get kind of like glib and fun and try to be silly about it each week, but I will just float out that it is probably the best ending to a long-running game that I've ever experienced, if anybody out there is in for the long haul. So, good stuff all around. It's Ombligo del Diablo. You can find it wherever your podcasts are.
Or just by
link
clicking Dan's name.
Yes, the anchor link is in my name. You got to find it.
I will literally cut you off.
As I restrain myself from being cut off.
Cool. Fabulous. Hey, DM, you should ask me what I'm working on.
Chloe, what are you working on?
So this Thursday, right after you're done watching Elle's cool thing with Gooey Cube, you should come back here to this stream to catch Read, Watch, Vent, because we are going to be talking and venting a lot, because I think both of us were very mad about the adaptation for Ready Player One. So if you have strong feelings about the 80s and Steven Spielberg and that movie or book, join us here, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, for our little book club. And we will be announcing our lineup for the rest of our spring books, many of which will tie into sort of the themes that we're exploring here on this adventure as well.
Strong feelings about the 80s.
Yeah.
So I could dance if I wanted to.
Oh,
I
no.
could leave my friends behind.
No.
And if
We're
my
ready
friends
for
didn't dance, well, then they didn't dance, and then they're no friends of mine.
Okay, well.
Can we talk about that song, maybe?
Can we talk about that song? You can talk about that song.
Elle's boogieing. I mean, I didn't even
I'm just
sing
trying
it.
to prove I know
put
any of
forward
the
lyrics.
before Sarissa says I wasn't born yet.
The safety dance has eldritch power. It compels movement. I blame it on the boogie.
The first time I saw that movie or that video, I was in college.
Yeah.
And I think I thought I was having a stroke.
Yeah, it's
like, what is happening?
Is it confusing or is it high art? We're going to leave you with that. Now the crew is all together. Is everybody ready to go? Also love how I changed subjects laughing in a very John Madden fashion. That was a moment of self-awareness.
Real quick for everybody who's been watching, I have been trying to get Stream Elements to update. I don't know why it's still doing the old commands because I've literally deleted them.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if next week works any better, and I'm going to do some more troubleshooting. but sorry.
Yeah, we're trying. We're learning as we go.
We're doing it old school. It's a new campaign, so we should have just as many technical issues as we did when
I was
getting the
gonna
first
say, is
one
it
going.
pros if we don't have a technical issue?
Speaking of troubleshooting, Michael has his pistol out.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And our technical issues have not been stream stopping or delaying, so improvements steady. Maybe in season 2 we have a flawlessly presented product, but this is part of the journey, folks. All right.
So Mike's pistol is drawn.
Yep.
Edith's got her knife and is looking around. Rose still has her shiv, which is just weird. Rose, it's weird that you have a shiv.
I don't like having a shiv. I don't want to be this person.
So the library just kind of opens into stacks. It's a bunch of old, mostly hardcover, but there's some paperback books, and you know that this would open into the outer ring, which is rare books, meaning like you got a mix between original printed like Bibles from the 16th century and like first edition Dean Koontz novels that have been out of print for like 30 years and fetch more than a $100 value. It's a grab bag. But you hear voices.
Okay. So can we assume that these things are open? We came down here without opening anything.
Would you like to go look?
Probably.
Yes.
Do you recognize any of those voices?
Do I recognize any of those voices?
No.
You can't really make them out. They're too far away. You know that the basement is laid out in a spiral. And it's designed to look from an aerial view, sort of like a maze. The point of that is to just add one more impediment to thieves getting back to any entrance or exit quickly. At least that's the stated reason. It's kind of like something out of a TV show, probably some sort of masturbatory design from the architect and the college chancellor and the head of library services. But it's pretty cool and difficult to navigate, unfortunately.
I might know how.
Oh, you almost certainly do. You've been down here quite a bit, haven't you?
Well, okay. More than I was aware.
But even that you're aware of, this is your major. You've been down here a fair few times.
If we stay along this side wall, we'll be okay for the most part. We won't just be out in the open.
I like backs to the wall. That's great.
I'm going to try to creep up on those voices and see who they are, because they seem to not be concerned about all the murder going up.
Yeah. Rose will try to navigate the group with him.
And they
Cool.
didn't hear us clamber down the smashed elevator?
You don't know.
That or they don't care.
All right.
So-
Well,
As you get closer, I'm imagining you're all doing the best you can to be fairly silent.
Yeah.
The voices start to become clearer and clearer until you can finally make out what they're saying, and it starts up on a conversation. What we need. No bloody idea what we need. Found a big old stack. It looks promising. Promising is not good enough. Check against the catalog, check against my notes, go back, go again. A female voice pipes up. We've received word the inoculations and infections proceeded more or less according to plan. Some casualties, as is to be expected, but overall a 100% success rate. Not bad considering the rush nature of operations. Oi, rush nature of operations, bed. The whole bloody island burnt down, didn't it? Enough. Is Earl back yet? No. It seems he's either been delayed or possibly skipping out on us. Maybe trying to hoard his knowledge, hoard his sample. It's no matter. If he's not here in the next couple of minutes, I'll simply recall him. How long has it been since, what, 10, 15 minutes? Something like that.
Do I recognize one of those voices as Jason's?
Oh, you do.
That's
And then he
bad.
says with that, well, I would imagine they're down here by now. Yes, I suspect so. Let's give them a welcoming party, shall we? Then silence.
I need to go.
Mike, shoot something.
Back out. Back
No,
out.
we have to find what happened.
I'm gonna point at Edith, nod my head, and start walking a bit further in.
No, go back. I'm sorry.
We need to go. This is not a fight we can need to have right now.
This is not a fight we can win.
Obviously.
I'm not trying to fight him yet. I'm gonna fight him when I can get the drop
Mike.
on him, bite his bloody neck off.
Mike, your leg has begun to itch like it has fleas.
We need to get out of here now.
We have to go. Thomas, come on. We have to go now.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good idea, but we're going to have to go through that.
What is he pointing at?
You turn around and see yourself facing, well, the only word that really comes to mind for the pop culturally inclined of a lot of you is some sort of hellhound, but even that seems too mild for what you're staring at. It is about the size of a small rhinoceros. It takes up the majority of the hallway spacing between the stacks. It has horrible pointed horns that extend outward like tusks and then taper off into some awful, abominative interpretation of antlers. It has a face that is something out of a nightmare, a combination of a canine's elongated snout with a feline's sharp needle fangs, drooling some kind of fluid that evaporates to steam when it hits the ground. And it is blocking your way out, but it is not attacking. And this thing could tear you apart pretty quick.
So we're talking then.
I'm going to walk around, pistol. I want to holster my pistol and walk around, see what Jason's up to.
Hate it.
Are there any dead bodies down here?
Not that you've seen.
Thing's just not making a move. It's just kind of hanging.
It is watching you in a way that makes you feel distinctly uncomfortable. You can literally, its eyes are about the size of baseballs, given the size of this thing's head. So you can see its friggin' pupils, feline, narrow. And every time you move, every time you so much as twitch, it's just following you. But it has not so much as twitched since you noticed it.
I have the ability to communicate with magical creatures and beasts.
You can try.
I don't know if it has language
Try.
or if it
You
could
can try.
qualify as anything, but yeah, I'm just gonna like sit down on my knees and be like, all right, doggy, I don't know what you've been through. I don't imagine that we share much common ground as beings. I am a me, you're a you. That's enough for most people to dislike each other. But maybe we could work something out here.
Free me.
Oh, how? I'd love to.
Hurts. Free me.
Anyway,
Kill.
Can the rest of us
or the
Kill. Kill. Kill.
Rory, I think we should kill it.
All right, sorry. Was everybody else able to hear?
Are you relating?
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I turn around. I'm like, well, he would like to be set free. Sorry. I don't know what its gender is, but this monster here would like to be set free and is very interested in killing. I'm not sure if it means it or whatever's telling it what to do. But yeah, it's very invested in death in some way, shape, or form.
You want a knife?
Is your attention still on it?
Yeah, mine is. Yeah.
Kin of the void.
Pen of the Void?
Kin.
Kin of the void.
Oh.
Lands beyond. Lands between. He'll take you to.
Oh. Well, I certainly hope not.
You should die too.
Or I think it does want to die. And it's saying that I should too. I'm just gonna quickly relate the rest, like
Go ahead. Yep.
about the.
We're assuming that Rari is communicating now. So
Yeah.
Rose?
All right.
I just want to sense how close. I'm assuming Jason is a supernatural. That's what Rose would assume. So she wants to see if she can sense how close he is to them with her
Close.
spirit touched ability. Yeah.
Close. 100 feet. And he's not alone. There is the power equivalent of a magical nuclear reaction in the center of these stacks.
We have to get out of here.
Well, can we kill this thing and go back up then?
I can certainly try.
Can you just ask him to move aside?
I don't think that it's the choice of this creature here to be staring us down. If I read this right.
You go in dead or alive.
We go
I
in.
heard, or I never be free.
We go in, dead or alive.
I will say you have a hole for a question.
Yeah. Let's try and decipher some of this things.
You sure may.
Maddening speech.
Go ahead. You can ask any question. I'll give you very broad leeway too, because
Okay.
you have held it for so long.
Okay. In the simplest terms possible, what action is this creature suggesting that we take to aid it?
It is here to bar your way out. Its
Okay.
presence is an obstacle against going back. Its
Mhm.
lack of aggression shows you that as long as you don't challenge it, it's not going to fight you. But it is in agony. It is bound to a purpose. And it is not an elegant binding full of negotiations and deals and quid pro quo and sacrifices. This thing's will has been harnessed. It has been chained. It is a broken version of whatever it is. It longs for death and it longs for murder, and it is being restrained only through a will so much greater than it. It's as if from a god, and you feel its confusion.
Yeah. And I am attempting to seek out the manner in which it thinks it could die.
It is hoping that you challenge it, just so in the small sense that a fight to the death ensues, you win. But you know the nature of bindings. You've seen a million of them. And you know that it will fight to kill. It has no choice.
Perhaps in lieu of that, I figure you're probably pretty pissed at the folks what done this to you, and I don't think that you or I could take on the worst of them. But I imagine that someone, fella, lady, whomever, like yourself, you might throw a wrench into some of their plans. And I would like to start flipping through my book.
No. Afraid.
All right. Well, maybe I'm just doing it out of the goodness of my own heart then. I have the ability explicitly to bar a place or portal to a creature, trap a monster, or banish a spirit. I do not know if those would apply specifically to like snipping somebody else's hold on a thing, but if I have to do it dirty, I would attempt to banish the held creature from its place of holding.
You may try.
Okay. I'm aware that this is a big,
may
strong
try.
magic thing, but the hold itself might be a normal hold. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Hey, Edith.
Yeah.
There is something astronomically strong down there.
I'm not surprised. That makes
Just as
sense.
a heads up. Just as a straight heads up.
Thanks. I'm kind of, at this point, since it looks like Rari has the murder dog under control, I'm kind of looking at the back because I don't know, Mike, you're probably also looking at the murder dog, so I'm trying to
I'm trying to figure out any other way out of here. I'm trying to read a bad situation.
We'll go ahead and read a bad situation, and then we'll loop back to Rory's roll results.
Total of 9.
Okay. And your question is if there's any way out?
Yeah. Any other way out than through the Hellhound?
You start like moving in the directions for other gaps in the stacks in this maze-like configuration that would move you back to the walls and thus to something you could follow to an exit. But stacks are made of books. Books have gaps. They're thin. And you hear pacing before you look. The stacks are littered with these hounds. You are trapped.
For my roll, I rolled 8 plus 3 for an 11.
You feel its hold on this world. It's like a thin thread. You can see the thread in dimensions that don't exist in this reality, extending from this universe into somewhere else. This is a thread that ordinarily you would be very, very well suited, in fact, experienced in snipping. Your hold on this world in your time was so strong that as a result, you basically mastered severing the hold others, weaker entities had. especially when they're brought here by force, especially when the bridge, when the thread pulling them wherever they're from is so tenuous. So you go to snip the thread, but you can't cut it. And the harder you try, the more you become aware that something is stopping you. Something is pushing back at you. By reflex, you try to overpower it. It's the nature of magic to apply your will to a problem, to try to bend reality to your desires. But the more you push, the harder it pushes back before you finally glimpse, not in sight, it's more of a feeling, it's more of a sixth sense, the scope and the power of what you're pushing against. And in your current state, it dwarfs you enough to give you goosebumps. And you get a luck point.
Oh. All right.
Success was taken from you, but the ability is yours, so you get a reward for rolling so well.
Okay. I think whatever's doing this to it, it's beyond my ken. I think we gotta fight it if we want to.
Do we have to fight the dog, or can we find who's holding the reins?
There are more
You
behind
don't
this.
want to.
This is our best way out.
Wait,
Wait.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Rose.
Is there okay? So there's a us dog door dogs or
More like opening in the stacks.
dog.
Yeah, more like opening in the stacks. Only the ones that lead further towards the center are not blocked by these vicious entities.
So it's not just one fight and then
If we went further in, there'd be more than one fight. There's one fight between us and the exit.
Yeah, as long as nothing comes to help it.
I think
Or-
Mike just dove in.
yeah,
Well,
that's fine.
I was like, wait, Mike,
Clarifying question.
wait.
Mike has the read of the situation. Your options are being hemmed away from you. You can either choose to fight against it, or you can do what you're clearly being asked to do and see if you can get some advantage later.
Let's just fight
Right.
it.
I just think that if we're gonna kill it, we should all attack it at literally the same time, because it's not attacking us until we're attacking it.
Okay.
Fabulous.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Sorry, roll weird.
Who?
Sorry.
Okay, not great roll, but enough that I think it's only quirky. Yeah, 7.
So you all go to do your coordinated attack, and before the girls and Thomas get there, as they are more melee oriented, you sense the flailing and pulse of power. You don't holler out what you've sensed before Mike fires, but you holler it out in time to tell everybody to duck, and Mike's bullet screams headlong into some sort of barrier that throws it right back at one of you. Everybody roll a d6. Holy crap.
A bullet fractures and hits all of us in the shoulder.
Oh my goodness. I've never seen that.
I was looked up because I was so prepared. I was like, oh, I'm the one getting shot.
The bullet fractures into thirds.
You know what? Mike, you're the one who fired. Pick between one of two options. An option that involves pain and an option that involves consequence.
Pain.
Pain.
Bad.
The bullet rebounds and comes back almost in a perfect straight line. It slows considerably, so the wound is not serious, but it hits you right in the shoulder, hard enough to break skin and leave a nasty bruise. Take 1 harm. A voice echoes inside the stacks. Stop fighting the inevitable, subjects. If I have to come collect you, I will, and I will not be gentle.
Oh, because you've been so gentle till this point?
Edith.
You have no idea, girl.
All right. I'm
Don't
gonna
call her girl.
top off my mag and start heading towards the center.
I am going to kind of like scramble up and put my back against something, like see if I can just create some separation between that voice and myself. Just like
Rari
uncomfortably
Flynn.
aware of how afraid I am.
Rari, it's good to see you. Can I give you a piece of advice? If you resist me, if you employ your will against mine again like you did 30 seconds ago, the beating I delivered you at your home is going to look very mild.
Oh, was that a beating? I don't even remember it.
Pull on your leash and drag your owner to the center. I am out of patience, subjects. Now.
I look over at Edith.
Maybe we can
Screw
shoot him.
yourself. No, I shout. I look at Edith, think on it for a moment, and then shout, "Screw yourself."
Okay. I was like,
I was about to be like, that's rude last words, Rari.
I mean, I know we had a earlier. I'm really sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. You can get a job.
You saw that it was like a half second of legitimately thinking about it.
Yeah.
Edith, what do you do?
But maybe we should go to the center because we can't fight that dog. Mike?
Mike's,
I'm already
Mike's
walking
heading
towards the center.
Thomas,
Oh,
what are you gonna do?
We're going to go. We're not going to let Mike fight that thing by himself. Come on.
Right?
Rose?
All right, if we're fighting, I ain't gonna let Mike take my kill.
Yeah, Thomas.
Stay behind me. I won't let him hurt you, but if he tries, run. Take your chances. If you need to, go straight back. Push these damn shelves over. I don't care. Just get out of here.
If we decide to run, we will. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'll slow him down. I'll figure something out. Let's go.
Okay.
You maneuver through this maze of stacks. It's really easy because there's a demonic entity blocking every wrong choice. So you make it to the center in no time to find a scene that is almost casual in light of the environment you find yourself. Just 3 people in street clothes. One of them, the gentleman who so rudely awakened you on the island, is just watching his watch, which pretty sure for those of you who know is a very expensive brand. The other is a diminutive, very ordinary looking woman. In fact, remarkable in how unremarkable she looks. Like she was cast by Central Casting to be your typical female extra in some kind of romantic comedy. And the other, a huge mountain of a man, at least 6.5 foot tall, maybe even taller, standing, leaning against one of the stacks with his arms crossed, whistling horribly, can barely even get a sound out. They're just waiting, and each of them, you all notice, is holding a book. The woman, a book of a brown, sort of faded, leathery looking substance. the mage from the island a black book that draws the gaze with how perfectly midnight and onyx its color is. And the giant clutched to his chest a tiny blue book, almost like a pamphlet. And they're waiting for you when you arrive.
Since I get there a few seconds before everybody else, I'm studying the faces of the other two, the giant and the woman, trying to make sure I can remember them if I ever see them again to kill them.
You cannot, but I'm going to go ahead and let you roll read a bad situation.
It's a 12. Not
They're
natural.
terrified of Jason Grayson. Very furtive glances. Anything else you'd like to roll before they get there?
I forgot. Oh,
I will let you make a move if you would like, or
I'm going to investigate a mystery.
roll.
See if I can figure out what books they have, if there's any significance to them.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's a 12.
The only book you can actually tell has any markings on it is the book held by the female, but you can tell that there is script, almost some sort of runic language etched very subtly all throughout the cover. It's not a language you speak. It's not a language you know, but you've never seen a book cover like this. It is almost completely inscripted. You also notice as you're trying to sort of carefully investigate each book cover that there is something that is not midnight black next to the book Jason is carrying. He is carrying also with him in the same sort of bundle under his arm a mason jar, but you can't see what's in it. It's disguised by the book. And at that point, as you internalize these realizations, you are joined by the full crowd. Welcome. And if I might say, impressively on time. I credit each and every one of you for your survival instincts. Particularly you, Subject Zero. You have come through so much. And Thomas just scowls.
What do you want?
From you? It's an unspecific question, but I'll play a game with you. If you ask something that doesn't sound like an absolutely idiotic bleeding with a question mark at the end of it, I'll give you an answer to my prerogative. I've got very little to hide.
What do you want with us?
Wanted, past tense.
You brought us back here. Why did you bring us back here?
I didn't bring you back here. You arrived.
What are you searching for in the library?
Found it.
What did you find?
The knowledge I need to finish what I started. By the way, thank you for putting my old friend out of his misery. I intended to do it before I left, but was hoping he would prove one last fatal surprise for you lot. Kind of happy to be wrong, though.
You used that poor man. He was terrible, but you used him.
Terrible people are the easiest to use, young lady.
Well, you ain't wrong.
Who else would you use? The righteous man will seek to twist any situation to the benefit of his fellows. And the unrighteous man will walk headlong into any trap or manipulation if it serves his delusions. It's a no-brainer.
Who are these people?
I think it's your friend's turn, young lady. I'll come back to you, though. This is amusing.
Why can't we remember the last 2 weeks?
Because you weren't there.
There's pretty strong signs that we were.
You're thinking very, very small, young lady. Your meat suit was there. Your hamburger packed into a balloon was present, but you were not. Any of the rest of you? Let's play 20 questions. This is fun. I've got, when he looks at his watch, give or take 6 minutes to kill.
What did you have our meat suits doing at our house?
Should be fairly obvious. Stealing stuff from here.
Why
But-
couldn't they steal the book you actually wanted?
Because there is no catalog for this library, particularly this innermost circle, and I didn't know which one it was. So I had them lift one book at a time from the most hidden and forbidden of collections until they got lucky, which they didn't until we were forced to accelerate our operations, so I did it myself.
What happens in 6 minutes?
I leave.
Where are you going?
It's a good question. On.
Are you taking the dogs with you?
They will not be able to sustain presence on this plane without me. I've literally willed them into being. That's why they're subordinate. When I'm any meaningful distance away, they will collapse into nothingness. Be tugged through the ether back from whence they came, some realm from somewhere. They seemed suitably nasty, so I pulled them through.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Where can I find your mother? I've been meaning to apologize since I didn't call her back.
I like you.
Huh.
Oh, I like you very much. You know, you were the accident that I was afraid would blow this the most. So powerful, so fierce, so grand. I actually took a minute to plan out what I was going to do about you. And then I realized that you're on a leash and you're a shadow of your former self. And then I felt offended that I was afraid of you in the first place. So I kicked your ass and I brought you into the fold. And it was the most fun I'd had in months. So thank you.
Why haven't you just killed us?
I have no reason to kill you. You are the final living monument to everything I've accomplished. Call it vain, but I have no desire to extinguish you.
So
Then why did you kill us the first time?
I didn't.
what you put in
Wait.
us killed us?
Did it? Oh, well, I suppose it's feeling very testy. I'm sorry, that was unforeseen. Looks like you made it out okay, though.
What did you put in us?
That's a serious question.
Yes, it's a serious question.
You survived the island. You fumbled around. You returned to your home, our erstwhile headquarters. You looked around. You still don't know what I did to you. Oh my. Well, that's unexpected. Should I tell you? What do you think, Mr. Connor?
If you don't have anything to fear, why not tell us?
Does it matter?
Would it affect your experiment?
It might.
Wouldn't you like a challenge?
It won't be my challenge. But it might be beneficial in another way. I have engineered a masterpiece. The greatest feat of summoning, materialization, and evocation magic ever attempted and ever accomplished. I have conjured from the void and my own will and the sacrifice of a million very dumb, very rich cultists. A germ. Perfect in its unity of form. Small. Defies your conceptions of such things as cells, atoms, pure contained power. And I've spread it around to, what's the word for what a virus does as it spreads and grows? Oh, yeah.
Infects.
Mutates. Very good. Evolves. Its will very soon began to subservient its subjects.
You made a zombie virus? You're a
Zombie.
magical, super powerful wizard and you made a zombie virus?
Zombies? Oh, man, I have more imagination than that. You weren't zombies. You were perfectly subservient. Literally instruments of my magical will and a magical will beyond. I granted you unity of form. I granted you unity of psyche. I assembled a collection of humanity on that island, so profoundly linked and so profoundly enhanced that, well, that I caught a glimpse of what every man, since we first lit bonfires on little humps of sticks, has sought to obtain. But alas, none of you were strong enough. They took nothing from you that could break the threshold, which was frustrating because initially I tried to break the threshold through a much more direct brute force and, shall we say, high ambition means, but that failed utterly. You're welcome, by the way, Subject Zero.
Stop calling him that.
It's his only name.
That's not true.
What's his name?
Regular Tom.
I kidnapped him. I'm pretty sure that's not his name.
His name is Thomas.
Don't give the magical man his name.
No, it's not. Although very, very good. You've learned something through all your travails. I'm curious. I only know you as Subject 427. Edith, correct? So tell me, all that nasty business with your sister, did it come with an introductory course to magical principles, or are you just reaching as far up your ass as you can to pull out factoids?
You know what? It's surprising how little difference the fairy tales have from reality sometimes. It doesn't take a really smart person to figure out certain rules.
That is the smartest thing any one of you has said to me.
I'm going to address the giant guy.
Hmm?
Are you a wizard also?
Am I a wizard? Are you a strange, diminutive little religious guy? Yes, I'm a wizard. One of the greatest in the world.
You're not greater than him.
No, that's true. That's a fact.
Are you going to let him tell you what to do and use you as a piece in his game?
Yeah, use me? Oh, I signed up willingly, Sheila. Do you know what the concept of bleeding edge is, eh? Bleeding edge. Beyond what anyone's even conceived of before. Magic taken to a height that mankind has previously only imagined and dreamt about in fantasies both high-minded and genocidal.
Right, so you're not captive, you're just stupid.
Oh, now. Don't be getting uncivil at me.
What about you,
I'll get
miss?
angry. You can restrain yourself, Bob. This is my show, and you'll get angry when I tell you to get angry. And he just shrinks back, which is odd from like a 6'8" dude to a 5'11" one.
See, he is using you.
What about you, miss?
You're-
Are you a willing participant in this?
I want to see how far it goes. You wouldn't believe what's happening with this research. You wouldn't believe the barriers we broke. Subject Zero over there, what we did to him should be impossible. We cracked him and what he came from like an egg. Stitched him back together like Humpty Dumpty. Did mighty fine work, if I might add. He Looks a damn sight better than he did in his original state when we got through with him. And we can go further. Even now, we're at work going further, climbing higher.
Left that island full of people who had been horribly mutated. How is that cutting edge in a way that's good for anybody, including you? What if
What does the term purity of form mean to you, girl? What does perfect mean to you?
I don't know, weird cults and Nazis come to mind.
Perfect? Perfect. Weird cults and flawed fascist bigots come to mind for perfect. Well, that's fine. Perfect is without flaw. Perfect is incompatible with imperfection. The people on that island were not ready for what we had created. Their bodies, their existence, their very essence, what you might call the soul, reacted and twisted around our creation. And we certainly didn't foresee what would happen to them, but it was pretty fascinating. Think of it, bodies that evolve magically guided in an instant to external stimuli and threat. If that's our mistakes, well, the final project is sure to get an A+.
Have you tried it?
Yes. It took what it needed from me and it left, and I didn't die. Maybe I'm just stronger than you.
Mike, can we just shoot these people?
Do you want to give it a shot,
It would have
Mr.
much
Connor?
effect. I don't think it would have much effect.
So if you're
I
not
will
going
tell
to
you
kill
what.
us, when will you let us go?
As soon as I'm done here, I need to make sure we're all gone before I give you free reign. Otherwise, you might involve moral authorities or work up some magical escape act that throws a wrench into something I'm trying to do. Sorry? I heard somebody say something. It's okay. We're just having a discussion. I mean, you can't leave under penalty of death, but you're in no other danger.
I was just asking the young woman if she is a voluntary participant in this.
Absolutely. Bleeding edge, Mr. Connor. Magic as it has never been cast before. Summoning it has never been attempted before. Binding it has never been conceived before. Nobody's doing magical work like Jason is. Nobody.
It's because they got all the good stuff figured out back in the 1300s.
He's not wrong. Think about what happened to you, dog. What it took to bring you to heal. I'm looking to iterate and improve. You stand as the greatest example of what it is I hope to ultimately accomplish. At least the greatest example that I could find. I'm sure vaster and more terrible bound beings than you exist out there. I'll find them eventually.
And what in the world specifically are you trying to put on your leash then?
The end and the beginning, Mr. Flynn.
Do you intend to live forever?
Me? I'm indifferent. If it's a possibility I can actualize, existing beats the alternative of not existing, but it's not my priority. I'm sorry? Go ahead.
I think you're hearing yourself.
2 minutes. 2 minutes for 20 questions, folks. And then this show will have to get on the road.
Do you know Aiden Grayson?
Yeah, we met in the womb.
You doing all right, as far as you know?
I don't care. I don't care. Is he doing all right? He works here.
Where are you going after this?
I have work to do, both here and hereafter. I think I have a few individuals to pay a visit to, a couple of beings to call in on, and then, well, and then back to it. See if I can finish it.
Finish what?
Thing.
His project.
The project. What
Well-
that rich blithering idiot called his ascension. Such an infantile term. It's nothing of the sort, my end game, but trust me, it will be spectacular, and I suspect we will all benefit.
By ascending?
No,
Like
no,
befriended?
you're incapable, the lot of you. Subject Zero, maybe in some form or fashion, but no, you'll just stay here, and you'll be free.
Free to be
Free.
subservient?
No,
To be infected with your plague?
no. Subservient. What use do any of you have to me? Subservient. I have what I came for. I don't need servants. I don't need thralls. We're past that phase. No, free to exist, to live, to make choices, to fall in love, to reproduce, to die old, surrounding by a bed full of gibbering loved ones talking about all your life's accomplishments as if they were heroes from Homeric epics, when in fact, a lot of them will probably be unremarkable. But that's the ending most of you seek, so far be it for me to deny you it.
What's in the jar?
The last piece of what the island taught me.
May I
And
see
that
it?
is?
He holds out the jar. There's just clear fluid in it. Sure.
Is it like the fluid that was in the jar with Thomas?
Take a luck point. Yes, it is. Excellent question. He checks his watch again.
Can I-
About 30, 40 seconds. One more round.
Can I use a luck point when he checks his watch? This is total bullshit, but I'm going to throw my knife at the jar that he is holding out precariously in his hand to try to dislodge it so that it falls to the ground.
All right. I'll let you roll for it.
Just a d6, right?
Yep.
Oh boy, we're gonna die.
Yep. But maybe not everybody else will die too. I don't know, 4.
You throw your knife, and it's not the attempt that's flawed. You wind up like a major league pitcher and just huck that thing. And it looks like it'd be on target, but Jason literally snatches it out of the air, twirls it around his fingers, and catches it by the hilt. Nice throw. It was the telegraphing that did you in, sweetheart. Don't wind up like that next time. It'll go 10 feet on its own.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, you might need it. Now, folks, can we get back on schedule? Where are the subjects? And the young lady reaches into her pocket, whips out a little notebook, and flips it open. Well, last I checked, the new subject Nova 1 up by the ski resorts somewhere. Nova 2, Capitol Park. Nova 3, the ocean is all Earl could tell me, and Nova 4, indetermined. That'll do. Come on, Earl. We're waiting. Anyone have anything else?
I get real tired of little worms learning to fly, thinking they're gods. I'm looking real forward to a moment where we're standing on a bit more equal footing, and I finally get to rid those smiling lips right off your bloody face, you insufferable little prick.
Do you know why that day will never come, Rari Flynn? You're a simple creature, animated by simple desires, greed, fury, entitlement. The only thing different about you than any creature I've summoned, any creature I've bound, any creature or person I killed is the size of your CV, the amount of rings in your trunk, and the size of your ego. You are beneath me in form, in mind, in ambition, in status. You are snared as if in a bear trap of your own design, brought low from the pedestal which you worship and yearn for so desperately into a meat suit to rant and rave and cast third tier spells and pretend that you're a big shot. If you ever want a rematch, well, I hope you find me, and I hope we get to explore that outcome.
Did anyone besides us survive the island?
Hell, define any one, Mr. Connor.
Did anything survive the island?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And even now, my project grows stronger through their depredations. You're curious, aren't you?
I am.
Those shoot, it's very, very difficult to distinguish from from my travels. Those mountains, they just caught a nice snow. All the recreational facilities just opened back up. If you're really curious, if you want to see just what my ambitions have wrought, go up there. Stay out late after dark, when it gets cold and when it gets quiet. Find yourself someone else unfortunate to have made the same mistake and watch and see the future if you're curious. And young ladies, yeah, I'm talking to the two of you.
We're listening. You seem to love having a captive audience, so I was trying to give
Oh,
you
I do.
silence.
It's glorious. It's tons of fun. Next time you talk to that blithering old fool, if you could tell him who it was that did that to him, that would satisfy me.
I'm not really in the business of helping you out.
That's fine. You'll find that information advantageous in time, I'm sure. I know how it plays. And suddenly a rip in the air, like a zipper coming undone in reality, folds space in on itself and creates a yawning void. Like you would imagine a picture, an illustration of a black hole would look like. And a tall, wiry gentleman steps through, gaunt, almost starved looking. He surveys the room, surveys the lot of you, sniffs, and turns to Jason. We're prepared. I've transported most of the written material to the new sanctum, and I have tabs on all of your new subjects. And Jason regards him. Earl, you're 4 minutes late. Earl, what kind of operation do you think we're running here? I swear to. And Earl tenses, like physically recoils. And And Jason just laughs. Oh, I love that y'all are so afraid. I so much as twitch and you wet yourselves. All right, take it through. And the big man and the woman give y'all each a sort of mocking look and take themselves and their cargo into this yawning portal that Jason just stands and regards. Something tells me this will not be the last time we meet each other. Am I correct in assuming that?
You're damn right.
Only God knows what the future holds.
That's precisely the problem, Mr. Connor. Don't worry. I'll fix it. And he steps through the portal, and in a flash of light more felt than seen, the room reverts to normal. The power turns back on.
And the dogs?
Well, if you go look, they're gone.
Are there cameras down here?
Yeah, almost
Yeah.
certainly.
I'm putting a mask on. We need to get out of here now.
Okay.
I'm a duck. First thing that came to mind. I'm a duck. I'm a duck now.
You just wandered into a duck on camera, Rory?
Well,
I-
it seemed better than any of the other alternatives.
I pick up the duck.
They don't have human vocal cords. It comes out as quacks.
No.
Thomas, are you okay?
My head hurts.
Yeah.
Being around him was hurt.
Let's just get out of here and then we'll talk about it, okay?
There are probably silent alarms going off right now. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
I have my. I'm just like I don't. This is awful. I have the duck. I'm just gonna follow my.
Ducks can walk and fly and swim.
I'm trying to be careful, and he looks small and fragile.
Dan's angry duck face should be a sticker. I mean, that was a whole like.
Thank you. I flap a little angrily.
I'm sorry. Here, hat. Fine. Fine.
Yeah.
Bro.
One college student carrying a duck, the other one carrying a knife and I think a pepper spray. Walking out of the library.
Like the coolest crew of evil fighters the world has ever seen.
Great. You get out just in time to hear sort of distant sirens crest on the horizon of awareness. But you're going to be gone before they get here. As you run and put distance between yourself and the library, you see in the distance someone sort of beat the sirens and run into the building by themselves. But you dare not stay any further because very, very soon you will have company. And so you retreat, and you retreat successfully. Do you go home?
Can the duck fly back and take a look? It's a seaside community. They might have ducks. That wouldn't draw a huge amount of attention.
If the duck wants to.
I think I'm just angry. I think I'm
Go
just
see who that
trying
was.
to go
Come
home.
on, Rory, go see who that was.
Huh?
Go see who the fuck in the building. Give us a sign.
And I will
You
eventually
chose the duck. I love it.
I will eventually fly back, but I ain't going in the building again. I'm just gonna get like a bird's eye view.
Roll sharp.
Whoever's watching this footage, like later on, is gonna be like, they have the weirdest drone. It looks just like a mallard. I've never seen anything like that.
It behaves really lifelike. It even simulates anger and agitation.
So angry for a drone.
That was a 5.
All right, roll sharp, Rory.
A second one, or
No, what was the
I
result
rolled-
for the first? I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
5.
You can't make out many details of the person at all, but they are on their own. They have beaten the police, and you see them arm themselves with some sort of firearm, some sort of weapon in the other hand, sort of steel themselves and charge in. But that's really all you can tell. You can't make out many details, and you don't want to get close.
No, I really don't. I flat back.
I'm picturing Rory's duck is wearing a blue shirt and a little blue hat too.
Donald Duck.
No, but definitely a little weird red puff of hair on top of his head, though. I land and I turn into myself if I don't see any other people around, and I'm just holding my arms like, oh my god, they don't tell you how much it hurts to flap. Oh, and those I'm used to different muscles and mechanisms
How
for
does
such
that
things.
work?
I tried to carry you, and you declined.
If you go like this really hard, you fly.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand it from different mechanical
Thomas,
points of view.
Thomas, stop.
You're right, it does hurt.
It's
Let's
just when
get-
they're your arms.
Let's get back to the house.
Rose,
Oh my god, I hate that man so much.
Yeah, Edith.
you should walk with Thomas.
Yeah, I got it. And
Make
she'll
sure
kind of.
he doesn't fly anywhere.
All right.
Like, it's okay, and she'll put a hand on his shoulder and walk with him.
So,
Mike?
Yep.
Yeah.
How are we grouping up? Rose and Thomas and
I have something I want to talk to Mike about, and Rory can come with me or not.
go for it.
If I
Rory,
have
you
the
going with?
option to not, I'm going home.
Okay.
Well, we're walking home. This is how it goes.
Rory sort of stalks ahead to be by himself.
Okay. So, yeah, I have something that I want. So I fall back just a little bit, and I'm like, Mike, I don't think magic impacts Thomas well.
What do you mean?
What's that? He was perfectly cool and collected in the library, and now he's acting like he's 5. And he did that back at the house.
I don't know if it's magic. I think his brain's pretty much been reset, is what it seems like to me. He's
Is he
learning
dangerous?
things. Not compared to what we just faced.
Is he, we shouldn't take him to my house dangerous?
I don't think you let him sleep there. I'll take care of him. Your house isn't really secured. We need to do some work on your house.
True.
What was Jason saying about your sister?
Tess had a run in. This sounds stupid. You're not the kind of person who like puts people away for sounding crazy, right? Like,
You literally would not believe some of the things I've done. If I told anyone besides a very select group, I would be in an insane asylum right now. I had to convince psychiatrists that what I know was true wasn't true for them to not lock me away.
she was taken by the Fae when she was 6. She lived with them for over 10 years, and she came back and tried to take her place back. But there was a thing living as her.
What
We
happened
didn't-
to the-
We killed it. And now my parents think we killed their actual daughter because she's nothing like what they grew up with or what grew up with them. She's gone. I don't know where she is. And so I don't know, but continuously bring this up, so I'm concerned that it's the same kinds of things.
Your parents, they
No.
know you killed something or what?
No, they knew we killed. They knew we killed. They held a funeral for Teresa, their perfect little daughter who died in a horrible fire.
But they still have the real daughter?
She spent 10 years in a place kind of like our fog with creatures that were not as accommodating.
How did your dad handle that?
He doesn't believe any of it's true. They sent me into a psychiatric ward. If Thomas is connected to that, I don't
think he's connected to that. That wasn't the first time your dad was convinced of believing something that's not true.
It doesn't surprise me. He's angry.
But no. Sorry, I checked the notes real quick.
Of course.
Your dad's Robert Jameson, right?
Yes.
I did some research on you when I first started following Rose. I served with him in Iraq. The naval psychiatrist convinced him that what attacked us wasn't demons, even though it was. There are only two of us who know the truth. The rest were convinced that we were fighting insurgents. We spent a few weeks with a battery of psychiatrists convincing us what we thought we saw wasn't real. So I don't know if that made his mind more susceptible to believing something that's not true, something that shouldn't be true from what we know of the world, and just accepting it.
It's easy to just accept it.
Yeah. Your father's a good man. He saved lots of lives, saved mine.
Well, he's gone now, so maybe he can save some lives and help someone else.
Don't
Because
give up on
my fault.
Don't give up on your relationship with your father. He loves his family.
You're going to have to talk to him. He gave up before I did. And I kind of walk forward, ending that conversation.
All right. We circle back to Edith and Thomas. The pepper spray trick was really good, by the way. I know Edith was irritated, but that ended up working pretty good. Can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted. Can't hear you.
Thank you.
Muted.
Just like I tried my best. I mean, they don't super cover demon insects in self-defense courses.
Yeah, you did fine. Your best is all you can do, except in this case, literally all you can do.
You okay?
Have you ever been in like a situation where you feel like a bunch of people know a bunch of stuff and are talking about you, and there are other people who know a bunch of stuff and they're talking about you, and they know you're never going to figure it out. So it's just frustrating and confusing.
Yeah, I do get that. I mean, probably not as intensely as you. But if it helps, I just learned everyone I know knows about all of this except for me.
You know that makes you the hero, right?
What?
Well, they know. So their bravery comes from a place of knowledge, right? And you didn't. So your courage comes from a place of resisting fear. That's the best kind.
That's really nice of you, Thomas.
I'm really grateful. Everybody else kind of treats me like an it, and you treat me like a he, and that's nice because I think that's what I am. I mean, I have a name, um, and a home, and I just wish I could remember. I can't even remember the island so well. It's like someone took a scrambler to my head.
If I understand, it kind of sounds like maybe it was the king. So maybe we can talk to him. I mean, I don't know when he'll come back, but when he does, I'm happy to ask him what he did.
Have you ever had a neighbor that you couldn't talk to but was there all the time?
Not that I can remember, but I could understand the feeling of feeling like there's a lot of people around and nobody's super listening.
My time on the island, other than the pain and other than that really rude guy, I spent most of it with him, and the whole time he couldn't talk to me. It was silence. It was like something was between us, but he really wanted to talk to me. And I wish I could remember what we talked about because wanting to finally get to talk to him was, I mean, it's kind of what kept me going.
Yeah.
You got to realize, Rose, when I was on that island, I never thought I would wake up to a pretty girl and a bunch of badasses saving my life. I thought I was going to die there.
Yeah. Well, God, that sucks.
Yeah.
But you do get to wake up now to a group of friends. And I'll talk to Edith. I don't really think she's going to make you stay somewhere else. That seems kind of silly. But
I don't know what I'm going to do. I feel like I should check up on Thomas Hemwick, but it makes me feel really nice to know that I don't. It makes me feel really nice to know that I've got somewhere to go.
yeah, I mean, we're here for you. At least, I mean, I know Rari likes you because he keeps saying he won't kill you, which in my 24 hours of knowing the real Rari, I think is a really good sign.
He's he's not what he shows the rest of you. Um, Something to keep in mind is it's very, very hard when you're used to being so big to be made to feel so small. And I think it would help if more people told him that they saw him for the size he wants to be seen as every once in a while.
It's a good thought. And
And
I'll have to mention to him that I think he's a super badass. I don't quite get all of it, but I'm trying to.
I don't get all of it either. I got more of it on the island. I don't remember. But hey, listen, there's one more thing that I just want to put in your mind before I go talk to him. And I don't mean anything by it, but it's something that you need to remember. There's no way this is over. A guy like that, he has plans within plans within plans. And I can't tell you how I know that. I can only tell you that I believe it in my bones. And it feels like, oh, it feels like a lot longer than a couple of decades are informing that. So just trust me when I say that this wasn't just some nightmare. If he's not going to be back, what he did on that island will be. And I'll conclude that by telling you that if you're brave enough to face that when it comes, well, I'm not going to let anything happen to you when you do it.
Well, then it's good that someone very brave told me that as long as I stand up to the scary stuff, I'll be okay.
He sounds like a wise guy.
It was kind of a big deal, I guess.
I'm gonna say something to Rari. I think he needs to hear it, but I think it needs to be private.
Yeah, no big deal. I'll be back here when you get done.
Okay. All right. And Thomas sort of jogs to catch up with Rari and taps him on the shoulder. Hey,
Oh, hey Tom, how's it going?
I've been better. I've been a lot better, actually. I'm sore and kind of afraid and kind of pissed off that that dude and whatever he's done is probably going to be my life for the next however long.
I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the state of things myself.
Hey, so you've been in a lot of fights, right? You've had a lot of enemies.
My share, though historically they don't tend to stay enemies or much of anything for too long.
So when I was on the island, I knew things that I could back up, and now I just know them. So I'm going to say something that I promise is true, but I don't think I can tell you why. Is that okay?
Magic's weird as all get out. Go on.
A guy like that, he's really smart, like really smart, and he's used to winning fights. He's used to getting what he wants. Well, you heard him talk. The entire world is obstacles and solutions. Everything is obstacles and solutions. So I get that it's infuriating when a guy like that talks to you like that. And I know how you feel because they referred to me the same way and I don't even know why. And you don't have to tell me why it's offensive to you, but it clearly is. And all I want to do is just guy like that only talks to someone like you like that if he's afraid of you. Or if he respects you a minimum. He talked to the rest of them like he was educating children. He talked to you like an enemy. So don't let him make you feel small, because if you can read what he was saying behind what he was saying, he doesn't see you that way.
He let me live. He could have done it.
Yeah, I mean, likewise.
If I was really afraid of someone, I'd have killed him.
Unless you needed him.
What you think he was pulling our leg with all that? He seemed pretty committed to the bit.
Sometimes I don't know where I'm getting this. I just know things. I have gut instincts. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Is it a lie if someone tells you something that's untrue but they believe it?
You think he's operating on the same sort of intuition in some ways?
I think
You think he's afraid of me, but somewhere deep down, despite not having a reason why, he feels like that need's going to happen.
I think that gentleman is the scariest, smartest, most insane person I can ever absolutely imagine. And I think his insanity has a way of shining a light on the truth. I wouldn't. You can let him make you angry. Don't let him make you feel weak, because he knows you're not, and he's afraid of what happens when you get stronger. I don't know your situation, but you're either holding back or you've got a long way to go before we see your best. Rory, your
Thank
magical
you.
knowledge doesn't match your power. When it catches up, he better be afraid.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, damn right he should. Of course. You know, I smelled it coming off him, I did. Now, you know
Thanks for
that.
saving my life.
I likewise.
You saved mine. I helped. Thank you. I get the sense that you didn't have to unless you were told, but you weren't told. You did it anyway. I'm really grateful.
Ah, well, whatever. You keep sweet talking a feller like this, there better be some whiskey with it.
Actually, what I'm kind of hoping is that you are the tie-breaking vote between Rose and Edith to letting me take a sleeping bag into your basement.
Oh, no. Tom, screw it. I only got a few things. You can have the couch because I can sleep as a fox or something else. What with a big soft tail I can nestle myself in.
You know, I appreciate the offer, but I kind of don't remember really what it's like to sleep on anything other than the hospital bed I woke up on. So, I mean, I don't know what I'm missing. Might as well give me the rough stuff. Maybe we can trade when I've earned it, huh?
Ah, whatever. Don't have to ask me twice.
All right. I'll let you be alone. I just wanted to let you know, screw that guy. And he offers
I'm gonna
his
kill
right
him.
hand. I'll hold, you hit.
Yeah, I'll take that hand.
All right. You guys eventually make it back to your place. It's still kind of trashed, so you take stock. I mean, the good news is Edith kind of takes the kitchen when you're all kind of tidying a little bit just to keep your hands busy. The kitchen's not as bad as you remember, so maybe you were just hysterical or putting a negative polish on things, but it's really not that terrible. I mean, you thought it was worse than it was, and it doesn't take much to get the furniture that's intact righted, and you kind of all find yourself eventually calm and sitting in the living room and wondering what comes next.
Oh, everyone. Now that we've got it cleaned up, well poured coffee on me as I pull out a gift card.
Kind of sounds
I'm
good.
gonna need some of that. Because, Rose,
Yeah.
we have class in 30 minutes.
Oh no.
Of course we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, okay. Okay.
Tom and Rory, Don't burn the house down.
I can't.
Well,
Thomas, be safe, please.
Mike,
course.
are you?
I'm going to stay here for a little while if that's all right. I can't move my van right now. I'm going to figure that out first, and I'm going to see what I can do about getting your house fixed up a little bit.
Thank you. And
Well,
help yourself. There's a lot of ramen.
have a good class, you two.
Thanks, Thomas.
When the girls leave, Thomas turns to Mike and Rory. So, I need your help. I think I can convince the girls, but this is me convincing you.
Go on.
Mike, he gave you something. I don't know if it was an arrogance or not, but he told you stuff he's up to. He told us all stuff he's up to. What do you gentlemen say to ruining this guy's big project?
Oh, yeah.
Never in question.
I don't know what he did to me, but I want to make him pay.
I think the question is where we go next. Like, check out the ski slopes might be a decent track to hit.
Well, yeah, I think it might behoove us to let the dust settle a little bit, heal. But I think once we feel ready to go, that's our first stop. Maybe we can find more answers up there. I don't think it was a trap. It was almost like a dare.
I think he didn't expect us to show up and wanted to show off that he wasn't threatened by us because he had what he needed at that point.
Charming fella like you, Mike, who wouldn't want to show off?
I think he was more afraid of us than he let on. I think he kept talking, waiting until his associate came back so that he knew that his plan had gone off without a hitch. We did the right thing, not calling his bluff. Who knows what would have happened, but a guy like that doesn't talk that much unless he's got something he's worried about, right?
He liked to show off. He was telling us, he was trying to show that he had nothing to hide, but there were certain things he wouldn't tell us. I think we learned more about what he wouldn't say than what he did say.
So, I vote we heal up a little bit. We see what we can about returning life to normal, considering all y'all have been gone for a while. And
Yeah, I made a promise to somebody I'd bring you down to the station and get you cleared up. And we got to go
That's
through
fair.
these. We got to go through these notes and figure out how many missing people there were. That'll be a kind of payment in kind. Get you off the hook for anything you might be in trouble for. We'll get all these missing persons cases cleared.
please, will you help me? I don't know what to do when I talk to them.
Yeah, just let me do the talking. Really
Happily.
play up the fact that you suffered a head trauma and you're confused. Don't.
Well, he kind of moves his head to like some scalp wound. It shouldn't be that hard to sell.
Yeah.
All right. So we handle our business. We let the heat die down. We wait for it to snow. And we go up there and we see what's what.
Do some poking around in the meantime too. As of right now, I'll get a hotel room. You can stay with me. I should really get you a room next to mine.
Sure. Rari, will you make sure that the girls are safe?
It's literally all I do.
I know, but I mean, somebody's got to do it.
I'm gonna deal with the agency real quick.
Yeah. And that, do you want to deal with the agency right now?
Yep.
All right. This will be our final scene of the session.
So basically, since it's not really the agency, I'm emailing one of my brothers and getting some funds released to get the house fixed up. improve security. I know that won't stop, wizards, but wizards have, mundane underlings. First of all, replace the door, get a security system on the locks and windows. And I'm going to get
They
them some.
respond positively. And before long, you got help just kind of taking your word for it, fixing things up. And you guys face the more mundane, important, but mundane tasks. Life will never be the same. You all know it in your heart. Class feels different. Clearing things up feels different. Fixing things feels different. You're on the cusp of something bigger than yourselves, and you decided not to look away. It gets weird in Weldport, and now you're weird too. And that is the conclusion of our introductory adventures to Weldport. That's a wrap.
Good night, everybody. See you next week.
See you next week for a very cool adventure. I'm looking forward to watching.